And now on Who's Views, it's time for the latest headlines with JT and the Whotastic panel.
It's the story that just will not go away this week. Oh, yes. Building on what we were talking about last week, it's still Mr. Shooty Gatwa. Has he gone? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your headlines this Sunday, the 20th of October, 2024. It's your big show from Who's Views. How are you all? Goodness me, what a week. What a week. Yes, we are going to be continuing to talk about that headline that we talked about last Sunday here on Headlines. The Graham Norton interview. It just keeps on giving because it hasn't dissipated this week. It's still there. And I guarantee you that Bad Wolf, BBC Studios, RTD, and possibly even Mr. Gatwa won't want it there. I'm sure they're all wanting it to disappear. Really, I am. It's nice to see you all. Nice, everybody. Welcome. Let's get straight into this show tonight, will we? Yeah, and I have to say right at the top of the show, in case I forget to say later on, everybody, what an absolute farce and embarrassment Doctor Who is today, eh? Isn't it really? Let's see what they think. Paul, third Doctor Who, what do you think about that?
Sorry, Shooty Who? Is he still here?
I've looked at this again. This entire iteration of Reboot Who, modern Doctor Who, has just gone from one drama to another drama and another drama and another. And it's very, very embarrassing.
Yeah, we're not interested in the behind the scenes stuff. We want a good product. That's what we want, you know.
We do. We really, really do, don't we?
We don't care about all that behind the scenes shenanigans. If they can't keep their house in order, then that's their problem. But keep it out of the news.
Yeah,
it's just it's basic stuff. JNT managed it. All right, some stuff seeped out at the end, but that was deliberate, wasn't it, to undermine him? Bless him.
Yeah.
But pretty much through his tenure, he kept a lid on it, and I'm sure there was a lot going on just as much now. But yeah, this lot they want to be more of a news story than the actual program.
Yes.
The thing about G&T is it's still amazing me managed to keep the fact that Nicola wasn't American quiet. That was amazing, I have to say.
Yeah, for about 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, is this just a sign of the time, Who Views? Yeah. Is it because these people, especially because they're from, I don't know, a certain industry, let's put it that way, is there an element of narcissism here coming up? Oh, look at me. Anyway, we're going to come to that very shortly. It's nice to see you all. Welcome, everybody. Before we get into the big discussions tonight here on Who's Views, we do have some sad news to start with. Again, goodness me, because we do have a couple of names from Doctor Who that have passed on, unfortunately, over the weekend. So we want to pay tribute to them. Now, the first one we're going to be paying tribute to is the director of photography, in Doctor Who, which is Ernie Vincenzi. Ernie Vincenzi. Now, you might not know the name, but you may know the face from these backstage show things they used to do. What were they called, guys?
Doctor Who Confidential.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. I can't remember.
That's a lovely photograph, and that's, I think, The Unquiet Dead. It's a funeral parlour, I think. And actually, it was beautifully lit. Absolutely beautifully lit.
Yeah. Well, there we go. It was there. That is actually from RTD's Instagram there, which was shared by the Radio Times. And they led with this: Doctor Who, a director of photography, Ernie Vincenzi dies. Russell T Davies pays tribute to a wonderful man. Vincenzi worked on all 4 seasons of Davies's first tenure on the sci-fi series. Not only that, but he also worked on other shows produced by the same house, if you like, i.e. BBC Wales, Holby City, Waterloo Road, Robin Hood. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
The Sarah Jane Adventures, Sea of Souls. Who remembers that?
Yeah.
That was a cracking series, that first one there. That was a really good series. And that, of course, is what led Phil Collinson, who produced that, to Doctor Who. He's also done a TV movie for Macbeth. He did Linda Green, The Mystic Masseur, The Strangerers, Shooting the Past. Oh, lots and lots of things there as well. So there we go. That was Ernest, we should say, but they called him Ernie Vincenzi, director of photography. I can't say that at night. Photography. This week as well, we also lost this gentleman. This is Alvin Rakoff. Now, this might be a name that's new to a lot of you here, but he was a Canadian and he was a director, wasn't he, guys?
He was indeed, yeah.
In his career, he had worked with such greats: Laurence Olivier, Peter Sellers, Sean Connery, Judi Dench, Rex Harrison, Rod Steiger, Henry Fonda, Ava Gardner. You know, just amazing names all throughout his career. Now, Paul, you've got a story about this guy as well, haven't you?
Well, there's a wonderful story. People probably know this why we're mentioning him, because he's married to Jackie Hill, the lovely Jackie Hill, played the fantastic Barbara Wright, and she produced various plays. He produced various plays with her in them as well. Yeah. And one particular one, is it Requiem for a Heavyweight? I think it's called. It's a film about a boxer, and they got Sean Connery to play this on TV. It was his first big break, and Jackie Hill and Alvin Rakoff gave Sean Connery's first proper break, and that helped launch him into James Bond, etc. So Sean has a lot to thank them for, definitely. God bless him.
Certainly does. And as you mentioned there, as we all know as fans, he was married to Jackie Hill. They married, I believe, in 1958. And when Jackie Hill passed on in 1993, that separated them, obviously. But yeah, gosh, it's sad, isn't it, really? We're losing all these people now. All these
and
names.
He's 97 as well, I think I remember reading, which is it's a great age, but
good innings.
You want to live forever, don't you? Yeah.
Absolutely. So to Alvin Rakoff's wife and his children, we send all our best there, and also, of course, to Ernie Vincenti's family as well. So there we go. We just wanted to pay tribute to those two there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Headlines here from Who's Views. It is Sunday. It is 20th of October. We've got a lot to talk about. I can see a lot of you in the chat already. We will get to you very soon. I just want to say a thank you to Lex for your super chat at the very start of the show. I don't know if this is true. Gatwa Pointless Who third series has now been cancelled till 2027. I really think this is getting axed and buried. Well, that's the subject of tonight's show, Lex. So thank you very much for your super chat. And everybody else that's coming in with this. We have a lot to get through this evening. What's this from Paul Rose? I know, JT, we are getting on ourselves. It creeps up on you quick. I know what you mean there, Paul. It does, doesn't it? You know, you start looking at our version of Doctor Who. Gosh, you know
that seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? Really, to be honest,
it really, really does. Oh, yeah, it does. Listen, as usual, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everybody that's been sending messages and mails this week to us. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. It does take me a while to get to you, as you all know, but I will get back to you. You can get in touch with us at whosviews1@gmail.com. That's whosviews1@gmail.com. And this week, I would like to say, if I may, guys, a huge thank you to Ray Warren, I Love to Be, Neddy Stark 3351, Eddie Day Riley 5144, Rick Storm 616, Captain Borsack, yes, you heard me correctly there, Constable Hansy, madam, Morgan Dean 5331, Macmore 4599, Robin Calvert 6885. Thank you so much for that, everybody, for getting in touch. Thank you so much. And I also at that point want to say huge thank you to Ray Warren, who I know is watching. Hi, Ray. Thank you so much for getting in touch. He got in touch yesterday because remember, oh God, it seems ages ago now, but at the beginning of the year, guys, we did our Peter Cushing and the Dalek, Doctor Who and the Dalek season. Do you remember?
Yes, indeed.
At the beginning of the year. And thank you for everybody that's still watching that and sending comments in about it. It's brilliant, this platform. It really is fun. You can do that anytime you like. But we celebrated Peter Cushing as Doctor Who, right? And I mentioned in one of the shows that Jenny Linden, who played Barbara in Doctor Who and the Daleks, would be at a convention in October in the Isle of Wight. Well, guess what? It's October and it's just been and gone, believe it or not. And Ray, our very own Ray, was there. And he was looking after her. And he sent me this message saying, hi, JT, I regularly watch the show and was delighted that your show covered the 2 Doctor Who films a while back and mentioned the lovely Jenny Linden. I had the pleasure of looking after Jenny today, this was yesterday, at the Isle of Wight Comic Con. Isn't that fabulous?
I love it.
Yeah. What was he saying? He's also sent me a story here. I'd like to give you a Doctor Who story from Jenny Linden. Doctor Who and the Daleks seems to be one of her favourite films she worked on because of Peter Cushing. She even used to visit him in Whitstable and would work with him again in the theatre. During the making of the film, her dressing room was next to Roy Castle's, and she said in between filming she could hear him as he was learning to tap dance at the time. When he wasn't tap dancing, he would be blowing his trumpet.
That's not a euphemism, you're okay, son.
No, because he was known for that, wasn't he? He was a very talented man and a great presenter as well. And that's great. Also at this was Rosalind Landor, the actress who was in the film called The Devil Rides Out. And apparently, amazingly, the last time Jenny saw Rosalind was when they were 8 years old. As Jenny's dad used to be... Rosalind's dad used to be Jenny's agent. Also, there was Nicola Bryant. So that was good. And thank you so much, Ray, for sending us this picture of her.
Oh,
wow.
Isn't that lovely?
Lovely, yeah.
So a good time was had by all, I'm sure, yesterday at this convention on the Isle of Wight. Doesn't time fly? Because it seems like only yesterday we were mentioning that Jenny was going to be there. And here we are with this lovely picture. So, Ray, thank you for that.
Thanks, Ray. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gorgeous Dalek as well.
Lovely, yeah.
And I know he's in the chat. So thank you very, very much, everybody. Yes, Michael is saying to me now, JT, have you heard? That's my line, Michael. But yes, indeed, I have. And have you heard? The story that we were talking about last week refuses to go away. It really, really does. The story, of course, that we were talking about was this one. BBC cuts Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor Who comment confirming a third series for the 15th Doctor. This, of course, was ahead of Ncuti Gatwa's recorded appearance on Graham Norton's show. Now, the show was apparently recorded last Thursday, and it went out on BBC One on Friday. We're going to go through again the context of what was missing, etc., in case you missed us last week or in case you haven't heard of this story. Where have you been if you haven't heard of this story? Well, following our talk about this on Sunday, this happened. Yes, it made the cover of the Daily Mirror. There it is there. Can you see it, everybody? Is it clear enough for you? Is it big enough for you? Time Wars, Nicola Methan on the fight for Doctor Who's future. Now, that does seem to me very dramatic. You want to do a da-da-da after that, don't you? But
except you can't, you'll be copyright struck. So you can't
probably, yeah. But to be quite honest, it's not, from what we're finding, it might not be that far from the truth. Now, if you recognise the name as a Doctor Who fan, Nicola Methan, it might be because that Nicola is usually spot on, and she usually has the correct contacts because she does her job fairly well, i.e. she's a proper journalist. She gets into everything. And she's been right about Doctor Who before, hasn't she, guys, over the last several years?
Yeah, I think one of the last things I remember doing, she mentioned about Return of the Animations, and they mentioned about CT and stuff like that. So, and she got her facts right on those ones. So, yeah.
She did, yeah. So I want to say to Nicola, well done. Congratulations for keeping this story in the news. I'm sure she's watching. I'm sure she's watching. And let's have a look at her story from this week's Daily Mirror, because here it is. BBC Doctor Who's future up in the air amid doubt over Ncuti Gatwa's return after mysterious edit. That actually could be a Doctor Who story in itself, the mysterious edit, although we'd obviously like somebody serious to write that one. That would be quite interesting. Never going to happen in today's world.
It has Simon Pegg in it, probably, yeah.
Probably. In a recent interview with TV host Graham Norton, Ncuti Gatwa was asked about the sci-fi show, only for a certain part of his response to be left out of the final cut. She continues, the future of Doctor Who is officially up in the air with a gap of 2 years expected after Ncuti Gatwa's second outing as the Time Lord hits the screen next year. The wait means there is now a big question mark over whether the Scottish actor returns at all, according to the insiders. And at the weekend, he added to the intrigue surrounding the BBC One drama's future when he told Graham Norton he was filming the third series next year, only for the remark to be mysteriously edited out when the chat show aired. So, what on earth is going on with the BBC's huge global sci-fi brand? Well, the prospect of a lengthy delay for any third series featuring Ncuti as the Doctor is real. Before we go to the next one, Nicola, it's not a huge global brand, love. No, listen, you can't
not
even
anymore.
get the, yeah, not anymore. You can't even get the fans interested in it now. Never mind everybody else. It's not. They may want you to believe it, but honestly, Nick, it's not. Honestly, it's not. Anyway, let's carry on with what she says. Writing in the new issue of Doctor Who magazine, showrunner RTD officially confirmed that Disney will not decide whether to renew its funding deal with the BBC Studios until after the second series starting Shooty airs, probably from May. We know all about this because we've looked at this before, but have a look at this bit. It's a big deal because the US streamer's cash injection for the first two series is thought to total £100 million, which doubled or even trebled the budgets for each episode. Pulling out could mean a return to the old style budgets, which would surely feel like a huge step backwards. Remember that, guys, because I want to come to that in a second. Whatever happens, any future series is unlikely to film until the start of 2026, as time needs to be allowed for scripts to be pulled together and guest stars booked. And that means no new Doctor Who on screen until 2027, with or without the Disney cash. But couldn't RTD just get the whole series ready to go either way? Absolutely not, sources say, arguing that it would be impossible to fully plan 8 episodes of action without knowing the scale of the budget. It massively affects the stories and the scripts, one insider said. It's much harder to film a battle scene with 800 aliens, for instance, if there isn't the budget for CGI or for some spectacular staging. So there we go. There's a couple of bits of information there, isn't there, really, about this? It might not be on now any third version of the show until 2027 because of filming commitments or budget. What's your gut telling you, gentlemen?
Well, I'll just pick up on the point about the budget very quickly, though. Doctor Who's always said, look, there are thousands of Cybermen over there. Let's go over there. And you don't see them. You know, we're used to that. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You know?
That's what I was going to ask you guys as well. And you in the chat, of course. I thought the budget for this modern Doctor Who seemed okay.
Yeah.
They did 14 episodes for having that.
Yeah.
I think it was a car crash with the 100 million extra, to be quite honest. And I didn't see £100 million or £50 million if you want to split it between two series. I didn't see £50 million extra money on screen in those catastrophic episodes, if that's what you want to call them, that they showed. I mean, there was nothing, and they didn't have £50 million to produce Robots of Death, and that was fantastic. They didn't have £50 million to produce Pyramids of Mars with 500 marauding mummies, but they did it, and it was fantastic. And yet they did for that last series, and it was the biggest pile of horse cack that's ever been across the screen. Yeah. You know, I don't see that money does not equal quality.
Well, and they proved that beautifully, didn't they? Thank you, Cara. Thank you to everybody that's joining us in the chat. I will try to keep up with you. There's a lot of you in there. Keep it coming. Thank you, Cara. I found a very obscure horror film with both Lee and Cushing, Nothing But the Night. Paul, do you know that one?
That's a bit obscure even for me. I'll need to look that up.
We will look into that, Cara. Thank you. Paul Richards is with us saying, huge global sci-fi ? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, come on. Global brand and laughing faces, says Richard Brooke. And Domgo is saying, I hope the delay is permanent. Yep, I think we all do there.
Yeah.
John Mason is also asking an extremely good question. Where the hell did they spend the money?
Parties mainly, probably, yeah.
Who knows? And because we can't access people's bank account, no kidding. Allegedly. Ooh, we'll get in trouble now. Matt532 saying to us they must have saved £99 million for series 2.
That's going to be bigger than ever. The best episodes ever will be.
And I don't think so. And what else we got here? Garbage saying Disney love the streaming content of classic and New Who. I don't think their heart is in it for filming new stuff. It's beginning to look seriously that way, doesn't it? Paul Rose is with us saying better stories can easily be done on lower budgets. I mean, it's not as if Doctor Who has been and established itself through its history as a big, glossy, American-style special effects. It was all about the writing. It was all about the story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think the special effects can enhance the story, but they shouldn't be before the story, as Terence has said many times, Terence Dix.
Yeah.
But I think there's a place for special effects in Doctor Who. There's also a space to do something claustrophobic, like Midnight or whatever, Moonbase or the Ice Warrior, something that's trapped in a claustrophobic space. That's fine. But you can have space battles 2 weeks later. That's fine. I remember when we got Doctor Weekly and you had the Iron Legion and you had all the soldiers marching, all the robot centurions marching up the street. I'd love to have seen that in Doctor Who at that point. I love to see big special effects, but it has to be right for the story.
Yeah. I think it's because these people writing, producing the show these days think the audience want that. And I think it also massages their ego when they think, oh, look what we can do. I don't think that should be the case personally. Richard Brooks is pointing out to us that classic Doctor Who had ambition. They tried to have scope and scale at all times. This is a cop-out. Yeah.
Well, to give you another example, sorry,
Super Lev is with us, Paul, saying we don't need loads of CGI.
I was going to give another example. In Bad Wolf Party of the Ways, when the Daleks come out of the spaceship and they all fly into space, that was brilliant. But I think Dalek was better just with one Dalek and some good acting and good script. You know what I mean? So it can be done both ways, but I think I prefer the more claustrophobic, atmospheric, scary stuff as opposed to the space opera, to be honest.
The thing about it, though, I don't know what you think about it, Ian, and thank you to Nibbles, who's also saying to us, maybe write a good script, RTD, and don't rely on CGI. I think, I get what Nibbles is saying there, I totally agree. I think they're thinking about more what they can do with the CGI now, more than what the script is.
Yeah.
I mean, because those 8 episodes we've just lived through at the beginning of this year were absolute tripe. There's a good British word for you people out of the UK. Tripe, tripe, tripe. That's what it was. It was utter nonsense. Tripe. And it was just unimaginative, shallow, agenda-driven tripe, wasn't it? It was awful.
It was vacuous. Yeah. It was just
good word
vacuous.
As well. Vacuous tripe.
There was nothing, nothing tripe to it.
That sounds like a band, GT. Vacuous tripe. Yeah.
But it was, wasn't it? I mean, like we said at the start, the people producing the program shouldn't be more news than the story itself, and the special effects should not be more than the story itself. And they've got their priorities all wrong. And the fact that they're in those jobs and are supposedly industry professionals and they can't see that is even more worrying or embarrassing for them, to be honest.
Yeah,
we can see it, but they can't, you know.
No, because they're also wrapped up in show business, wanting to look good as well. Well, let me just break it to you. Your last series was a flop. You don't look good. You don't look good at all. But I also, when I'm looking back at those seasons now, and those big epic finales they always promised, they were always a letdown because they can't write a decent episode 2. They can't write a decent resolution. So they rely on the CGI in there. So I think that's why, it's a personal theory, why they want bigger budgets as well, to cover up plot holes and an inability to write. You know, I mean, look at the bizarre thing as well.
Yeah, there was another thing about the episode Boom we had last season was set in a fake quarry. They should have called it a quarry, for God's sake. You know what I mean?
I know, as they would have done in the old days. Maybe they couldn't afford to get the actors on location in case it rained or something ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's where
trying, perhaps.
That's where an answer to some of our Who viewers are in there. That's where certain aspects of this budget went to. They went into those sort of things. But if you look at that Bridgerton awful rogue episode, that to me still looks like a cardboard set. Not one of the best I've seen ever. Thanks to everybody that's with us. JWC Reviews is saying less is more. You don't need to show everything. Let your imagination do that for you. I don't think they've the ability to do that anymore, JWC. I really don't. And
do you remember, sorry, Jason.
The Matt Smith and Capaldi eras look fine, Ian.
If we look back to something like Planet of the Daleks, earliest, I love that story, and I know it labours at times, but being a 6-parter in the 70s, but I love that story. First full one I can remember personally. But it was always, you know, end of episode sting. Somewhere on this planet there are 10,000 Daleks. You're thinking, oh my God, 10,000, because I only ever see 3. Wonder why. And then you have that scene where the Doctor sees it through the little porthole thing, and they're obviously models, aren't they? But it's only fleeting. But when he actually goes down in amongst them, which I still think is one of the best things ever, when he's climbing around those Daleks, they actually went out of the way and made full-size props, didn't they?
Yeah.
They actually went out and made it real. And that is still more convincing and more nerve-wracking watching that than any other tripe they get now, where they just produce an army at the click of a keyboard. It's just not convincing at all.
Yeah, but it also doesn't look that brilliant. I mean, we're talking about some of our other shows how people are returning to model making because it's actually there in front of them and you can film them beautifully. If you look at some of the CGI now, especially from the early, I mean, this is what gets me about some fans who viewers. They'll always go on about, as we know, the tradition is to bash original Doctor Who for cheap special effects and that. Actually, when you look at it, it's not. a lot of it is very, very good compared to the CGI now from 2005 onwards, which is incredibly poor now because that's dated quicker. Do you know what I'm saying? It looks
definitely,
really
yeah.
Andy Gledhill's with us, guys. Doctor Who does not need tons of money to produce. You don't need mega books to tell a good story. No, you don't really. And with the talent that they've got on these shows as well, they'd be able to do them some real justice if you just give them proper Doctor Who scripts, I think. Rick Storm is also with us. If War Between Land and the Sea is televised in 2026, they probably don't count it as a gap as it's still Doctor Who, albeit a spin-off. Well, listen, don't forget. I reckon they're going to show the Land and Sea thing at the end of next year. Personally, I think we're going to get season 2 some point at the beginning of 2025, and I think we'll get the Land and the Sea at the end, so the Disney deal can be done quickly. Because as soon as that's shown, that's it done. Do you know what I'm saying? Business wise, that's it done. So stay with us, because of course we're all going to be talking about the developments through 2025, which is now, I'm going to say it, it's actually an important year for Doctor Who's future now. 2025. It's going to go one way or the other. There's no intermediate anymore. That way or that way. Off or on.
I think the sad thing about this whole affair is, whether you like New Who or not, they've not learned any lessons from what Moffat did with Matt Smith and Capaldi. Having gap years kills the series. Ncuti was hardly in the first series. He's going to be missing from the second. He'll make no impact whatsoever. And then they'll have another gap year as well. It's like, what's the point? You know.
Do you know what? I'm not that bothered. Having seen the performance this year, I'm not that bothered. And certainly, as we were saying last week, some people in Paul here on the channel in headlines last week were saying they'd met people who were saying, "Is Doctor Who still on?"
Yeah.
You know, because he hasn't had that impact. 8 episodes is not going to have an input with your general public here in the UK. You do need that longer run, and you do need proper scripts that they're not going to go. Steve Rogerson is saying to us, so much for no gap years if this is true. Exactly. And Marjorie's with us. Hello, Marjorie. Doctor Who doesn't need a massive budget. Classic Who did well for 26 years without a large budget because the stories were there. I think we can all agree on that. Lee Smith is with us here saying, Gat was here for the money, honey. Was trying to do that in a Honey Monster voice. Who was banned, wasn't he? Wasn't allowed to be there, you know, because of the teeth or the sugar or something. Ridiculous.
I remember Henry McGee, Benny Hill's friend, used to be in that as well. If you remember,
Benny Hill, mate, bless him. What a lovely actor he was.
He was.
And Mark Greaves saying to us, I can't see the value of a supposed 100 million. No fantastic sets that could be done on previous series budgets.
Yeah.
The Macronon is saying to us, the budget was on screen. The snot monster from Space Babies was made from Grey Day organic snot.
And that can be very expensive. Trust me. Yeah.
Yes, they went to Harrods for that one, didn't they?
Yeah. Up the snot aisle. There you go. Up you go. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, so. Forbidden Man is with us again. What a waste of cash. Where did the money go? I'm going to start. Did any of us see it on screen in those 9 appalling episodes? Are we going to get to see it again in this year's Christmas special? I don't think so.
Well, I've seen a couple of pictures. I think we put them up a while ago as well, of various other monsters appearing next season. They're all CGI again, so they'll look a bit crap, probably.
Oh, God. Barry's with us as well. Hello, Barry. Hello to everybody that's watching us. It's nice to see you all here. This is a big show about this topic because it just refuses to lay. You know, it's still there. Barry's saying to us, Ark in space, £5 worth of bubble bath scared the crap out of me. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And with that £5 you had change to pay your mortgage as well on top of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because £5 back in 1970 something was expensive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You know, back in the day. David Harding, nice to see you, David. The TARDIS set sure looks expensive. It is, let's face it. But now they've got it and they can keep it for years and years and years. They could keep that, God forbid, for 20 years if the show ran for another 20 years.
Well, look how long Classic made the original set last. You know, that was value for money there, wasn't it?
It really was.
20 years, wasn't it?
Just about, yeah.
Oh God, there we go. And Stephen Braddock is saying to us, it's not popular anymore. The proofs see how easy it is to get a Gatwa figure online. Oh, really? Oh, God. Crimpling to Balloon, nice to see you, Crimpling. Surely they can budget for something like Tennant's first series. And if any extra cash were to come in, they could sprinkle it around on FX later. Any leftover could be used to make a Dalek special. I wouldn't want them even doing that because I've got this feeling they'll water the Daleks down, CD. But I've actually said before, haven't I, guys, many, many times, they don't need the Disney input. And as Nicola was saying in her article there, BBC Studios and Bad Wolf could do this with themselves. They absolutely could do Doctor Who with themselves, and it could be the budget that they did the original Modern Who with. What's wrong with that? Why would they get frustrated? Yeah. Surely if they had that budget and they were producing 14, 15 episodes a year, and now they're only going to do, as Russell T Davies has said, the plan was always to do 8. We're only going to do 8. That's television today. Lazy lot, get out and work. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's Disney's template for their shows, isn't it? They do 8 episodes for the Star Wars stuff and the Marvel stuff they do, I think.
Yeah.
If you look online, you look around YouTube, and say, for example, if you want spaceships, look at the people that do their own versions of Star Trek. They'll take classic Star Trek scenes and that had really old ropey ships in and things, and they'll do their own, and they look cinematic quality, and they're doing them on the PCs for nothing. And you've seen people doing stuff with Daleks, and it's amazing. And you do not need £100 million to do that. Not anymore. All you need is care, attention, and love for your subject. And that is something that Bad Wolf clearly don't have any of, I think.
Or interest or energy or anything like this, I mean, it's such a shame, isn't it, really? Because, these are the people that brought it back and contributed to making it a success back in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. Then they've gone off. They've put their own production company together. They've worked in America. They've done all these other shows. You think they would have learned, and they think they would have come back to Doctor Who saying, this is how we do it. But as Simon L is saying in the chat, they spent the money on the activist writing.
Yeah. What it needs, and McCoy said this a while ago in various interviews, it needs time to work on it. You can't rush it. You have to take time. And they have to bring back rehearsals for actors before they record anything, because it needs that development time. And none of the actors have had that recently. And that's why they're not pulling it off as well as they could do, because they're crap, under-rehearsed.
That's an amazing point, actually, Paul. And I agree with that as well. And I look back at how they used to produce Doctor Who in our day, in the original series run, and they had so many weeks rehearsal and then they recorded.
Yeah.
And I just think, and now today, they can't do that. You get 10 minutes rehearsal and then you go and record No wonder there's so many wooden performances, or actors going on saying, I should have done that, because you work it out in the rehearsal. And I just can't understand, if it's only on for 8 weeks now, if there's only 8 episodes and they're still filming for whatever, surely they can allocate in and budget in a week or 2 of rehearsal for them. I mean,
I know they would have a chemistry rehearsal audition with Millie and Shooty together, and apparently you're on, but it doesn't really come across in the same way as Tom and Liz or whatever. It's not got the same charisma. There's no time to develop a relationship in the short time they've been together.
Especially when he wasn't there for the first few weeks of initial filming, because he was filming something else. I was saying this to a friend of mine over the weekend. That was ridiculous, wasn't it? And we both agreed we probably would have cast somebody else who was available, but no, they had to go for whatever reason. Smiley people is with us, guys. I think the money doesn't matter. Story, plot, rounded characters are the best thing ever. I'm well today, so I can. I'm well today, so I can comment. But I have been watching. Well, nice to see you. I hope you're getting better, mate. I hope you're okay. And it's lovely to have you with us again. Thank you for your comments. Keep them coming. Philip Roy is with us. He knows all about budgets at the moment, of course, because he's got his own fan production in there. He's got that. Treble the budget, and we only got 8 episodes, 2 of them without the lead actor. Exactly.
And there's a Dr. Light one coming up as well.
There's a Dr. Light one in the next version, the next series.
Apparently, because 8 episodes are far too many for any actor to deal with.
Well, it must be. Oh, I need to lay down.
William Hartnell did 44. Yeah. Okay, I had maybe 2 weeks off, but he did do most of the year,
I know.
Yeah.
Problem being, is saying to us here, must have spent the budget on just lighting the TARDIS interior that we never see. Apparently, in the next,
it's an electricity bill, you mean? Of course, yes.
Yeah. Apparently, in the next version, in series 2 of this thing, apparently there is an episode set in the TARDIS.
Yeah. So that's quite cheap. That's the one done on the cheap.
Yeah.
But we've been there before.
Yeah.
Well,
it won't top Every Destruction, will it? Let's be honest.
No, not a chance.
So, we've got a lot of people with us in the chat. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us. Keep your comments coming as we get through this. And hello to Kirsty, of course, and also to Garbage and Problem Being for moderating in the chat, making sure that everybody's fine and dandy in there. Domgo is saying 100 million must have been Davina McCall's appearance fee, allegedly.
Good point. Yeah.
And Neville is with us saying they always make the same mistake: extra budget, extra CGI, but then it all looks the same. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And then it's because there's no story, because it's shallow and hollow, and CGI can't cover that. Legion of James, no matter how much money you throw at it, if the writing and talent is just not there and the focus isn't truly on the show, but instead on the gender, then it will always be guff. You can't polish a turd. And yet, mate, they will keep trying. They really, really will. Dalek Eye is saying something interesting, guys, as well. They spent more money on Gatwa's outfits than anything else. Millions of pounds, yet a completely empty TARDIS that was hardly used. Gatwa's outfits would have cost a sizable amount of the budget. Now, I'm saying this because we know this for a fact from the original series as well. Costumes cost money. And your
Janet Fielding must be livid, mustn't she?
She must be livid. But, costumes cost money, and your lead actors may need 3 or 4 copies of their costume. So with him having a different outfit in every single episode, that's a sizable chunk of money.
Yeah.
It really is. And that continues, of course, as we know, into the next version. I think the blue pinstripe suit comes back, but it's all there. So yes, it's a good point, Dalek Eye. Thank you for that.
I think they dressed him in different outfits just to cover the fact that he's a really, really, really crap actor in Doctor Who.
It's funny as well, the budget of the TARDIS just looks clinical and not lived in. I wish they would go back to the idea of having bits of furniture. Okay, the jukebox is quite interesting, but there's not any furniture of the Doctor's travels like they had in season 1, the original season 1. Bits of the Doctor's travels. That was more interesting. But
again, it
looks like a hospital or a spaceship or something.
I don't know. There's something about this, isn't there? There's something missing from this version. I think it was just all about, oh, look at us, aren't we clever? And we've got this. We're going to be doing this, and it's ours now. And ha 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 ha, and all this nonsense. I know to Robbie Bonham was with us. I didn't watch the middle episodes. Lucky you. Honestly, Robbie, we were forced to, because we were actually looking at it for this show and doing our review shows, and we've committed to doing it all again.
At least Whittaker's TARDIS, thinking about it, had a bed in it, didn't it, Paul?
Oh no,
that's very true.
Let's not go down there.
I hated her set worse than anything. That was
awful.
It
was awful.
It was so. The Doctor's played by a woman. Let's make it really girly now, shall we? Because
it was so plasticky as well. But this one's just too sterile. It's you imagine you walk on that set and you can just smell antiseptic.
Probably for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Do you know my favourite from the reboot era is still Capaldi's?
Yeah, the version with the roundels, the second version. Yeah.
I like his because it just reminds me so much of my favourite 80s console.
Yeah.
For Peter, Baker and McCoy. It just seems like a natural successor to that. And I liked it because it was on different levels. And it was just, why do they have to change it every time a new producer comes on board? Although if a new producer came on board now,
they'll be keeping it.
Can't do anything. They can't do anything because they've spent millions on that one. Thank you for that, Eddie, who's saying get rid of RTD and get real actors who portray the Doctor and stop using the same script writers, namely the showrunner. They do have script editors as well on there who are supposed to be able to advise the writer. But I know what you're saying there, Eddie. Yeah, I mean, he is writing, and we've said it on before, he's admitted, why would he stop writing the show when that's how he gets paid?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to hand the script over to somebody else because he gets paid by the script.
Yeah.
No script editor would dare argue with him. Anyway,
well, they obviously don't.
But it's not like he needs the money, to be honest. You know what I mean? And he gets paid for being executive producer as well. That's just being greedy, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah. And only 8 episodes now. I could understand if they're still doing 13, 14 with the Christmas things, but they're not doing
I'd understand though, if he did it and it was a huge success and he was trying to set the template for it like he did in 2005, but that failed miserably. So, and hoping he set it up and hand it to somebody new when he'd set it in stone the way it should be going, and hopefully it would be a success, but it hasn't been.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't been. It's been a disaster, hasn't it, everybody? We have to say that. It has been a disaster, a massive flop. I don't think it's even done that well on Disney Plus around the world. The British public didn't buy into it. It's been an embarrassment because we're getting all these dramas. It's an embarrassment as well because, certain aspects, certain people look at it and go, what are they doing here? They've pushed all these agendas into it. It is. It's an embarrassment. Really is. Hugh Janus is saying to us here, must take a lot of cash to shoehorn in all that message and agenda. Probably. Probably does. And limited budgets inspire creativity. Today they're treating CGI as a crutch. Exactly, Barry.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, isn't it, really?
Very true. Yeah.
Komodo is with us. The bigger amount the investors put in, the more control they have. And I
think someone must have kicked the crutch away or something happened. I don't know.
No. And Eddie's saying to us, lessons must be learnt from proper classic Doctor Who. They're not going to even look at that now because they're too busy rewriting it all, aren't they?
Yeah, the only thing they're doing with classic Doctor Who, apart from saying you don't need to know anything about it because this is all new, is going back and trying to put their own stamp on it. Yeah. And they have no right to do that. It was created by and acted by way more talented people than they've got now.
Well, yeah, they also forget that. John Mason is saying to us, the more they spend, the worse it gets. And Nigel Peaver, nobody's frightened anymore. It's all glib jibes, isn't it?
Evening, Nigel. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, isn't it? It is that as well, Nigel. And what's more, like everybody in the entertainment business, they get at the fans. Oh, it's your fault this hasn't worked. Yeah. It's your fault. It's your fault. Actually, no, because we haven't produced the blooming thing. And if we had, it would probably be a lot better. But it's the same with all the franchises, isn't it? You're looking at Marvel, you look at Disney, you look at Star Wars, you look at Star Trek. They come and blame the fan base. We've even got it with Wicked, with that bloody idiot woman kicking off this week, haven't they? When a fan did a tribute poster and she goes off saying it's degrading to her. Get a grip, heaven's sake. Don't slag off your fans.
I didn't see all the story. Did they darken the shadow over her eyes?
They made it like the original Broadway poster.
Yeah. Right.
That's all. Because and it's their fault, the marketing team's fault for doing a homage to the Broadway poster.
He didn't draw glasses and a moustache on it, did he? Like that?
No, he just shadowed it, so it was more like the original poster. And she kicks off. Oh, get a grip, get a proper job, woman. Paul Stenterford. I get the impression that modern Doctor Who writes down to the audience, while classic Doctor Who always assume that the audience has a brain. You're absolutely right there, in my opinion, Paul. I totally agree with that. Back in the day, entertainment would just assume they were entertaining, and they wouldn't talk down, and they wouldn't put their own politics, or they wouldn't put any agendas that they had into it. Now the whole thing about entertainment, and especially within the BBC and all the output that it gives, is that we are the great unwashed and we need to be told what's good for us. And that comes out through all aspects of the BBC. It's one of many reasons that people aren't paying for the BBC anymore. You know, it's shocking. But you can see it in Doctor Who from Star Beast, Wasted Opportunity onwards. It's just been ridiculous, you know, with all that money as well. Don't forget everybody as well. Star Beast, the other two things, and the Christmas one, can't even remember what they're called now, but those 4 episodes we had in 2023 were part of the budget.
Yeah.
It's part of one long shoot, so don't forget about that.
They were awful.
The Doctor Who SFX crew worked miracles with low budget, said Lee Smith. Yes, and we all know as well that out of that businesses were born.
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them. Well, as I say, this is the story that just wouldn't go away this week, and it carried on. Nicola got it in the Daily Mirror. She pushed it there. And then, of course, what happens is the knock-on effect, or as I call it, the domino theory, because it goes, you know, and other people started to report it as well, including Screen Rant. Doctor Who Season 16 status addressed by the BBC after Ncuti Gatwa seemingly revealed the renewal. The Radio Times reported it. A couple of our other papers sort of copied what Nicola was saying as well. The story we're going to go to straight away to talk about it, though, which encapsulates what everybody was saying, guys, is this one from Deadline. The BBC didn't censor Ncuti Gatwa over Doctor Who being renewed, but says his comment about Season 3 was wide of the mark. So let's get into this one, because this was the BBC's alleged response. Oh, you're going to love this one if you haven't seen this already. Let's go into this. From Deadline. When Ncuti Gatwa recorded the Graham Norton show last Thursday, he delivered what appeared to be good news for Doctor Who fans.
All three of them.
All three of them.
Yeah.
All with the pronoun badges. His third season as the Time Lord would shoot next year, i.e. film. Gatwa's comments were briefed to the press by the Graham Norton show's publicity team on Friday morning, but his quote mysteriously changed when the chat show broadcast on BBC One later that evening. Speaking to Norton on the famous red sofa, Gatwa originally revealed, "We did the second series this year, the Christmas special is coming up, and we are filming a third series next year." Deadline continues. The Graham Norton Show warns journalists that it's not unusual for certain quotes to fail to make the final cut, but the switch led some Whovians to question, I hate that term, Whovians, to question whether Gatwa's remarks had been censored by the BBC amid uncertainty over Doctor Who's future. The truth is rather more mundane. According to Deadline, Deadline understands that the Graham Norton Show made the edit to liven up Gatwa's answer and was not obeying a, quote, sinister, unquote, request from BBC bosses. Indeed, the Doctor Who team was not involved in brokering the interview, given the sex education star was now promoting his appearance in The Importance of Being Earnest at the National Theatre. The BBC has, however, distanced itself from Gatwa's remarks, restating that Doctor Who will not be renewed until the actor's second season has premiered next year on BBC One and Disney+. As we've said previously, the decision on Season 3 will be made after Season 2 transmits, and as always, we don't comment on speculation, a spokesperson said. Season 2 will likely launch next spring. There is said to be some confusion about why Gatwa made the comment, particularly given showrunner RTD has echoed the BBC's position about future seasons. Excuse me. The decision to commission Season 3 won't be made until after Season 2 has transmitted, and that's always been the deal since the start, RTD said in the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine. The writer has previously said he has stated work on Season 3 scripts and that he is very confident about a renewal. Now, we've reported that before as well. He has said that he started work on the next series scripts. Anyway, The Graham Norton Show incident has provoked another round of questions about Doctor Who's future, not least a front-page story in the Daily Mirror from Nicola Methven, who is well-sourced on the Bad Wolf and BBC Studios produced franchise. Deadline reported in July that Disney is uncertain about whether it will continue to co-produce Doctor Who beyond 2025. The Mouse House's commitment is critical to budgets, storylines, and casting, meaning its withdrawal could mean major changes to the show. Liam Keelan, Disney's SVP of Original Productions in EMEA, acronym, declined to comment on a future greenlight at the Edinburgh TV Festival in August. He did, however, hail Doctor Who as a really good fit for Disney+. Gatwa's own future on the series is also up in the air. A source tells Deadline that he might not be long for the job as he explores other roles. His rep has been contacted for comment, as if they're going to say anything. What seems certain, though, is that Doctor Who fans will have to wait until 2027 before a follow-up to next year's season. It remains to be seen in what form the sci-fi franchise will regenerate.
Fingers crossed, eh?
Yeah, I do believe EMEA is Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Ah, right.
Not that any of them are going to care, are they? Really?
What I find interesting about this, and I think you touched on in the last week's show, but is the fact if this was happening, they'd be singing it from the rooftop, saying "Season 3's coming, yippee!" But they're not doing any of that, are they?
No.
Now this is why. This is what I'm saying in about this whole new version. Why on earth are they playing games? Why don't they just tell everybody, look, this is it. We're not doing it, or they're not doing it. Or when you're dealing with huge shows such as Doctor Who or Star Trek or Star Wars or anything like that, this is how they disrespect the fandom continually. Yeah. We are there. Give us the information that the fans are asking for. Why all the secrecy? Because it's shrouded with business and it's all about money and kissing everybody's ass to make sure they get the money. That's what it's all about. I swear to you, I'm sure that's what it's all about. And they're all pussyfooting around each other. Lovey, 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 lovey. And in the meantime, this is why rumor and speculation gets out of control and makes a story like this. And what they seem to forget, the Daily Mirror, whether they like it or not, is still read by the British public in its thousands, in its millions. And the British public will read that and go, nah, and not bother to come back to the series. Yeah. Not that they're going to come back at all to this next version, the 2025 series at all, because, you know, several years of this nonsense has been enough for them. They have gone. We've confirmed that they've gone. I just find it ridiculous. Just tell people, why are you keeping everything in a shroud of secrecy? Are you trying to look clever or what? What's going on? Come on to Who's Views. Come and tell us why you can't just tell us as fans what we want to know and be straight with us.
I think they misunderstand and misinterpret the level of interest. I think they think it's huge and don't realize that it's virtually non-existent. So they think they're playing a huge game with this massive audience that's on the end of a hook, and actually there's nothing. But they're just delusional. But then we know that, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, I love a conspiracy theory. I'm a Doctor Who fan, right? But I think that the way Shooty was behaving on the show, I watched the programme, unfortunately, and he didn't seem very confident on it. And even when he was asked questions about the importance of being earnest, he was very cagey about that. I don't know if he'd read the script yet, because he couldn't answer a question about the play. But likewise with Russell, when he was interviewed more recently, he seemed less confident about what was going on. So I'm sure there is something going on that's leading to cancellation, without a doubt, I have to say.
Oh, I'm convinced. I'm absolutely convinced. I mean, I've always said, haven't I, there will be some sort of third version of this, third series, third whatever, you know, and then that'll be it. And also, if there is a gap year, that takes them allegedly, so I'm hearing, to the end of the contract between BBC Studios and Mad Wolf.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I don't know if that is true, but allegedly, you know, because they only got so many years to do it. A lot of you in the chat are saying they need a gap. John Steed, great name still. They need a 5-year gap year. Domgo, please make the gaps as big as possible. Glenn is with us. Hello, Glenn Piper. Nice to see you. Am I right in thinking Disney haven't got involved in Doctor Who yet? Well, they are involved. Whether or not they're still involved now, they've given over the money and looked at the products, I don't know. They would say yes, everything's fine.
They're asking for a refund, I think.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine? They'd have kittens. David Harding is saying to us, it also didn't help Series 1 that they aired the first 2 episodes on the same night. That means the season is done and dusted after 7 weeks. Excellent point. And that was Disney's insistence. Just like Disney insisted to the BBC, whose show it is, by the way. Yeah. But because they've obviously the biggest money investor, they got their way, didn't they? We want it on in May, and we want 2 episodes on the night because that's our pattern. Not the BBC pattern. That was totally alien on BBC One to do that. And look what happened. People tuned in for Space Babies, but they were gone for the Devil's Board.
Yeah. Having known what I know now, it wouldn't have bothered me if I had to wait another week to see the Devil's Board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard enough watching them back to back, you know?
Oh, wasn't it awful?
It was painful. But it was interesting seeing the dropping ratings between the two.
Yeah. Especially when they had Shooty in between, say, come back for part 2. See you then.
Yeah. Please, I'll cry even more.
What we got here from Anthony Parkinson. Nice to see you, Anthony. How did Joker 2 cost 200 million? And how did Doctor Who burn through 100 million? Ooh. Answers on a postcard to Who's Views. Goodness me. That's a great question, that. What? So don't forget, let's have a look at that. So that's what Disney invested. They also got money from BBC Studios and also Bad Wolf as well. And any other little parts like the Welsh government and stuff like that, right? That we are aware of. Everything's alleged. Anyway.
If you look at this
hang on, Paul. Yeah. And then they got the 8 episodes and a Christmas episode and 3 Tennant episodes. 8 episodes for the next series. You're totting this up, everybody. And 5 episodes of a special. That's what it's gone to.
So about 26 episodes in the end, something like that, is it?
So we're looking at production costs, which also would include staffing, SFX, music, location hire, transport, expenses. Did you see it all on screen?
No, but I was going to make the comparison. Joker 2 is probably 2 hours long. These episodes, if you made them like 2-hour films, would be 13 films. So it's reasonable to consider that being the budget.
Plus what's coming.
Yeah.
Plus what's coming.
I was kind of including that as well, actually. Yeah. Because they must be paying 100 million for the whole deal, aren't they? Not just one series.
Well, they were there obviously to aid the distribution and to be the distributor worldwide, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were supposed to be that. This is really weird when now we start to think about it and talk about it. I don't think Doctor Who suits this sort of budget anyway, because obviously what I saw on screen for me this year looked cheaper than when I last watched it, which was with Capaldi.
Yeah.
What do you all think about that in the chat? There's lots of you in the chat tonight. We are thinking hard now, aren't we? This is.
I didn't see anything in Space Babies, for example, that spoke to me about huge mega budget and massive production standards. I didn't see it in the Christmas special either.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I saw it in any of the other stuff. They might have spent some money trying to create an authentic 1960s London, but they wasted that. I don't recall anything really that was. No, I can't see that money.
What's going to be interesting is reviewing the Impossible Planet next week, the Tenant two-parter, comparing that to now, because that's got a lot of space sequences in it, a lot of good special effects in it, how that compares to the new stuff and how it stands up. And that's what, 15 years ago, something, isn't it? Something like that. Yeah.
Hello to Marine Boy 1966. Does any real Who fan like Gatwa or feel they're being bullied into liking him, as otherwise you're either being labelled homophobe or racist? Listen, we've had that for years now, ever since that announcement about a certain actress taking over the role. That's when it all started. The name calling really started. You were either phobe or an ot or an ist. You have to get used to it now because it's not going anywhere, because that's how a certain generation works.
It's a thing, if McCoy played the part now and we didn't like him, it would be anti-Scottish. How does that work? What's going on?
Or sizist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Lee Smith is reminding us it's 4 million from the Welsh government. Absolutely. Yeah, it's all there. And Dalek Eye is saying to us, I hope they do not have too long a hiatus, as I don't want this version of Doctor Who to be my last memory of it. I think it's going to be, because whatever happens, you've got the Whittaker and you've got the Gatwa era in there.
Yeah.
If you've watched them, that is. I mean, I'm quite happy to get rid of this Gatwa and say it doesn't count for me.
And it's going to be five or six seasons in total. If he gets a third one, we had three Jodie ones as well. That's 6 seasons of absolute rubbish.
And to be fair, there was chunks of Capaldi, which wasn't Capaldi's fault, where it had started taking that path.
Oh yeah,
that was absolutely undiluted tosh as well.
So even in something like Forest of the Dead, or it was the one with the he was brilliant in it. The episode was crap, but he was superb in it. He really
Kill the Moon. What an opportunity Kill the Moon was, with the fantastic visuals. Really looked like the moon, and spiders that looked scary. And it turned out that the moon was a big dinosaur egg that hatched and was immediately mature enough to lay an egg itself, which became the new moon. What utter bollocks.
It could have worked had it been a different planet.
Maybe.
There's an egg there. But Earth's moon, no. The moon is the moon. It's a piece of rock. We know that. We've been there, for heaven's sake.
Did the Silurians lay an egg up there or something like that? If it's a lizard or something, that's what happened.
Yeah, the Keyring of Razalon, welcome. Let's see, and maybe another couple of specials added onto those. And Babette Bombshell is joining us, saying Disney wants to own Doctor Who as an IP when the BBC collapses. They've wanted it since the 80s. The problem is now that it's not actually. Doctor Who is now the BBC Studios. BBC Studios will not collapse. If the BBC loses its license fee, which it probably will do within the next 15-20 years. And they have to adapt. It doesn't affect BBC Studios at all, because they're an independent production company, and they have Doctor Who, so they could still make it with any production partnership they wanted to, and broadcast it on the new form of a BBC or their version of the iPlayer, or anywhere they want to, as they've done with Disney.
It feels like Disney owns it already, though, doesn't it? To be honest.
They're calling the shots, absolutely, definitely. It'd be interesting to see. We all know that RTD wanted it on Doctor Who on earlier. It's going to be very interesting to see around about December or January if they bring it from May earlier up, because even Disney need to see the May slot failed. They might stand a better chance, although seriously, I do doubt it now. I think it's too late. They might stand a better chance showing it in February or March. And get it out the way. And then show your Sea Devil thing at the end of the year. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not they can see what I can see. Matty is saying to us, they're probably paying through the nose for the stellar writing.
AI technology is very expensive, isn't
it? Oh, God, that's worrying, that stuff, isn't it? Hey, kids, don't lose certain AI things, especially if you're British, because you're not spelling correctly. Just a note there from your Uncle JT. Go and buy a thesaurus and a dictionary. Much better for you. A British one. Rose Kirby, hello. Hey, Doctor Who season 1 or 15. Only 2 previews. Christmas special season 2 preview. There's not enough interest from the public for previews and trailers, is there? They just don't care. And they've lost, don't forget, a huge amount of us.
Yeah.
They've alienated a lot of us through their nonsense. Crimpling to Balloon is saying something you two can comment on. Flux will look better than season 1.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Some of the space sequences were superb, really, yeah.
The visuals from there were all right. I mean, the acting was obviously diabolical.
Yeah.
But
don't think too hard about that. You'll give yourself flashbacks, Ian. Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't want that. Absolutely. So, I mean, yeah. But the visuals, yeah, absolutely.
Well, who did them? Was it BBC Studios or was it an independent?
I can't remember who did them.
It's not,
some of the chaps doing now. Yeah.
Is it the same visual effects team, everybody that's doing them now? Because they weren't that good this year. I'm sorry, everybody, but they weren't. And I've noticed that with other science fiction shows. You're supposed to be getting all this the money and the visuals. They're a bit sort of
it's
flat.
funny. The Whittaker era, and Ian can back me up on this, the way it was shot really well. It was very filmic, wasn't it? And that made a difference from the Capaldi era, which is really good. And that was a definite bonus.
I think with Whittaker times they had, I think that was it the second episode in, or the third episode where they were on this planet and they were flying around and everything. There was quite a lot of, not the Ghost Monument, the next one, where that spaceship crashed behind them as they were running away.
That was the Ghost Monument, that one, I think.
Was that the Ghost Monument? I see it's all just one big mess.
One big blur. Yeah.
Well, it's continuing though, isn't it?
That visual was really good. It was cinematic. You had a spaceship that crashed on a planet and they were literally running away from it and it looked convincing. I mean, it was the one time you wished that the spaceship would have actually hit them, but there you are. But visually...
We did Gatwa 3 years too early, probably.
I mean, this is what I mean about putting the show together and looking at all this week. I was embarrassed. I put that in the thumbnail for this very show. It's an absolute embarrassment, this show now, because as I say, it goes from one drama to another drama. And as far as I'm concerned, the last 2 miscasts as well have not helped the show. You know, and it's all been about DEI. It has been. That's all it's been. The first woman, the first black, blah, 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 the first, all that nonsense. Oh, it's just ridiculous. It's just, as John's saying, who doesn't need that kind of money thrown at it as well? But I just think it's embarrassing now that the show is in such a bad state of affairs. It's going from drama to drama to drama to drama. Nobody's sorting it out. Nobody's talking about it. We're going to come to this as well. There's rumors that he has gone. That's there as well. He's just out of contract at the moment, but will he be back? We'll come into that very soon. What you're saying to us, Nibbles? Why is Hollywood and every media creator nowadays obsessed with destroying our franchises and annoying fans? Joker 2, didn't see it, don't fancy it. The DC Universe, the Marvel Universe, Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings. Because they feel we need to be told. The whole thing, as far as I'm concerned, and speaking to people in the industry, to sum up, I'm summing this up. They looked at science fiction and fantasy and went, that's all about men. That's predominantly male fans. They need to be told about this, 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 and this. It's white male fans, which shows their bloody ignorance because they had no idea about how diverse the very things that they all love, our fandoms were. And the fact was, for years and years and years, none of us cared. We didn't care about each other's colour, sexuality, religion. We were just fans of Doctor Who or Blake Seven or Star Trek or Star Wars or all of them. And we would come together and not see anything except our joy for the shows. And these poisonous idiots have come in thinking they need to be told. That's why they're doing it, Nibbles. That's why they're doing it. I'm convinced. And it hasn't been the same since these alleged activists came into all the fandoms and just destroyed them and put them in their own image. It shows you how poisonous they are. Our very own Betwea is with us. Hello, mate. How are you? Joker 2 is dreadful, and most of the budget went on convincing the cast and director to make it.
We went to see it 3 times.
I bet he did, just to make sure. I saw the original Joker, which I quite liked, but it's a really hard watch. It's really depressing. But I didn't fancy this at all. Really.
Daryl's with us as well. Hello, Daryl. Stay tuned with us on the show here. Daryl, please. Deep Breath had far better effects than anything in the last series. I love that dinosaur.
Yeah, superb. Yeah.
And when he spat the TARDIS out, that was quite fun. It felt familiar back in Deep Breath.
It felt like Doctor Who.
Yeah. I think it's because as a little boy, I'd always thought of things like that, with the Doctor Who Discovers Dinosaurs book or something like that. Darryl, nice to see you. As I say, stay with us. And Raymond wants to know, where did the 100 million rumour come from? I think the budget is closer to 10 million than 100 million. It wouldn't surprise me, but it was in the context of what Nicola Methven had published in her article for the Daily Mirror that we've just gone through, and what was coming off the back of it. Because this week, honestly, it was everywhere. I was getting notification after notification after notification from this media outlet or this media outlet or this social media or whatever, all building on what Nicola got printed at the beginning of the week in the Daily Mirror. And I thought, this is incredible, because we spoke about it on the Sunday, and then suddenly it got big. It's just absolutely ridiculous what happened there.
We've all been watching Who's Views, JT. That's why.
I hope they had. Stephen is saying we don't need huge budgets. Horror Fang Rock was made on a shoestring and was magnificent. Again, it's because of the story and the acting and the direction and the production capability and ability and talent. Who's Lost Eyes? Nice to see you. No way this is costing 100 million. Doctor Who as a franchise just isn't that big of a hitter. It certainly isn't now.
And They've certainly worked hard to make 100 million look like 10 million now, haven't they?
And are they getting it back from anywhere? Is it paying? Is it?
No, of course not, because
merchandise that its target audience doesn't buy and nobody else wants.
Well, we all know, and in case you don't, I'm going to tell you now, but certainly us on the show will know. You can now get all the Gatwa related merchandise discounted from certain shops. There's a lot of the books. There's a lot of the audios. You can get £5 off, £4 off, £3 off. Even some of the books that came out 2 weeks ago, £5 off. It's as though theorizing, it's as though the retailers are trying to shift the stuff. There's no market there, so certainly there can't be. BBC Studios can't be making anything on this version.
But even Disney, though, if they're not picking up extra subscriptions for Disney Plus because people want to watch Doctor Who, it's not encouraging people to come and watch it, is it?
No, they're not. But for fans as well, because they're saying all this, because we've been treated badly over the last few years, why would you want to buy their merchandise? Really? Why would you do that? We know that season 2, the standard edition, has done extremely well. And the standard editions is what I always look at. The Blu-rays are, because that's proper Doctor Who. That's our Doctor Who. Proper Doctor Who 63 to 89. Always at #1 in the charts. Covered it on a Merchandise Paradise with Bedouia in the week. Season 2 is on the way in December. #1 in 3 of the 4 Amazon charts. Congratulations to them. But that says an awful lot to me. Yeah. Phil's joining us with Teddy Reggie Rock's channel here, saying if you didn't like McCoy today, you'd be a spoonist.
Can you say that? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. We've got Julianne with us. I thought the production, writing, acting was the poorest of all of New Who, and by a distance. And hello and welcome to Paul Bowler. I think Gatwa's Doctor is awful. He's too OTT and he's crying all the time. You're saying nothing that we haven't said, my friend. Another poll. How many polls? Where's the pollometer? I'm up to
There's 4 a plague of polls, I think there is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm up to 4 at the moment on the pollometer. Yeah. Mark Greaves is saying to us here now, they can label me whatever they want. Gatwa can't act, RTD can't write, and the BBC have no balls. That's because they've been too busy hiring other people over the last few years.
That's part of the agenda, isn't it? I think, anyway. But
it's absolutely part of the agenda. Oh, my goodness. A lot of people with us again. Yeah. I mean, I would love to know if we can get to the bottom of how much they put in there. Maybe one day we will actually find out. I always say, at some point as fans, if we live long enough, we will find out. The truth comes out, as we now know from the original series as well. And that's why we know that was on nothing. Absolutely no money. High Desert 004, I was just gobsmacked at how dumb that was. Is that the budget? I did it. Nice to see you. Yeah. This is what happens, though, as well, because they don't have to be honest and tell people anymore.
No.
And they possibly are waiting for their own book, which people might go and buy. This is why the rumours go out of hand, isn't it? And this happens, and this happens, and this happens.
Where's DWB when you need it? That's all I'm saying.
Sorry, say again, Paul. Say that again.
Where's DWB when you need it?
Oh, yeah. And what did you say, Third Doctor Ian?
No, if Russell T Davies did a book now or whenever, I would not be interested in buying it. And I got the writer's tale, and to be honest, I quite enjoyed it, and the revised version as well. But I wouldn't touch anything like that now. I just absolutely wouldn't. No interest.
We've got Killbot Kill here. Sexual preference never really was shown in the original series. Now it's everywhere. It's damaging to the show. It's not just damaging, it's killed it. Absolutely stone dead. It's been there, I believe, now for several years. It's now killed it. And we've got here as well, Lee saying to us, Lee Smith saying the Clangers makes more sense than RTD2's Doctor Who. Dr. Wants is with us as well. What about in the Forest of the Night, where Doctor Who told kids not to take their antipsychotic meds? That and the anti-soldier stuff. It was embarrassing. I can't remember any of that.
That's on the forest in London.
In London, talking about. I don't remember it.
Yeah,
and it was written by a really well-known author who can't remember.
yeah. Somebody Boyce.
Frank.
Max.
No, not Max Boyce. He's Welsh. It was Frank. I think it's Frank, wasn't it? Frank Cotterill or something like that.
Yeah, Frank Cotterill Boyce. I think that's his name. I think that's it.
Right, there we go. I see it's coming back to me now, as the sailor said. When
where that last piece of foliage disappeared in a puff of fairy dust.
I don't remember it. Yeah. Hello to Time Lord Victorious, who's joining us. When you're so ideologically driven, viewership numbers, money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's true, because you're burning somebody else's money, aren't you? That's why. And we all know where the BBC sits today, and we all know that
they're burning so much money. There's an ozone hole above the studios in Cardiff, I think.
Exactly. The TQI cult, the war's going on in AI. These are scary times. Couldn't agree more, Nibbles. But we have to have a British outlook on this. We have a stiff upper lip, and we speak for truth and honesty. That's what we do. High Desert 004 is saying RTD is just not a good writer. Period. Thank you. And Mrs. Lisa Pertwee's girl is joining us, saying hello to us all.
Hello.
TARDIS Travels is also saying, I don't think I will be watching the Xmas special or season 2. Well, that's
we'll do it for you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, we will be watching it. So if you're not going to watch it, come and join us and cheer me up as we put ourselves through all this nonsense. We are going to be looking at the Christmas episode, which is called Joy to the World. We're going to be doing that Anna review, obviously, when it's been aired, which at this stage looks like it's going to be the 25th of December. Don't forget, everybody, as well, that, of course, the Disney deal is in place, which means it will be on the iPlayer in the UK from midnight Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, however you want to look at that, and at normal times outside the UK around the world.
And you can't watch it because Santa will be on his way, so you have to make sure you're in your bed. Okay, so
it's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
We are talking an awful lot now about Series 2 of RTDT's 2, or whatever it is. Version, Shooty Gatwa's second series. We are talking an awful lot about that. But as I've just mentioned as well, the proper Series 2, i.e. 1964 series starring the late, great, the first Doctor, Hartnell first, William Hartnell himself, is about to come out, as we've mentioned here on the channel, on Blu-ray standard edition. At last, somebody was watching the show, gentlemen, and heard me raving about this. Yes, we are getting that. You can go and look at our Merchandise Paradise Live, where Bedouir and I, along with a lot of you, celebrate.
It's a great show. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, well, that's coming out. The standard edition is coming out. The crowd goes wild. Yeah, coming out.
It's a great set. You'll love it. Justice for Web Planet. Just saying. Okay.
Well, this brings me on to letting you all know, if you haven't seen it already, our plans for November. Because we are going to be celebrating season 2 coming out on standard Blu-ray edition with a season 2 overview, like we did with season 25. That's coming out in November. And we're also going to be reviewing a season 2 story. And that's where you come in. Right now on the community tab, you can vote for the story you want us all to review in November. This is viewer's choice. You can choose from Planet of the Giants, The Dalek Invasion of Earth, The Rescue, The Romans, The Web Planet, The Crusade, The Space Museum, and The Chase. And at this point, I'm going to say I haven't forgotten about The Time Meddler. We've already done it this year. So that's already done. But there you go. You can vote on the community tab. It's over 2 tabs, 2 posts on the community tab. Please vote for one only. Oh, yes. Planet of Giants, the Dalek Invasion of Earth, the Rescue, the Romans, the Web Planet, the Crusade, the Space Museum, and the Chase. Hashtag Hartnell first forever. And whichever one you vote for, we will all come back in November and review it here on Who's Views. I can tell you that before the show, in the lead was the Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Oh, come on. We can't do all the good ones first, you know.
Well, as they say, you can change all that. Get onto the community tab after the show and vote for which one you want. We've got a lot more subscribers with us now than we did when we did this last year. Whichever one gets the vote, we will review in November. The dates will be coming in the next few weeks. We'll let you know when we're going to be doing it. But the viewer's choice is back, everyone. Really excited. Give us something fabulous. Season 2, we're celebrating that November 2024. Isn't that fabulous, guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great
Absolutely.
set. Lovely set. Yeah.
The proper Series 2, everybody. I am so excited about that. Peter Venkman Fansight's joining us. Belated greetings and facilitations. Where have you been? How very dare you. Woodhouse, it's lovely to see you, Peter Venkman. Nice to see you. Woodhouse 122. Hi, Rory. Bet it'll be the Web Planet, he says. Well, as I say, at the moment,
as long as it's not the Space Museum.
Yeah.
And unsurprisingly, our Phil is saying to us, "Oh, I voted, but I only saw 3 options." Yeah, well, he's never been.
Time Lash is not on there yet.
No, honestly,
it's the Borat or nothing with
him. He knows we are going to be reviewing Time Lash as a Christmas present to Phil in December.
Well, because there's tinsel in it, that's why, isn't there?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. There is
all that's in
it. Graham is with us saying, to be honest, any of season 2 absolutely wipes the floor with any Gatwa.
Yeah.
Standing ovation for that one, my friend. Absolutely does. No, you can't, Phil. Tough. Mark Greaves is saying to us, original season 2 is your reward for watching Gatwa season 1. Very exciting, says Time Lord Victorious. I hope you're saying that in a Peter Cushing styling. Most exciting. Terrified Monk is saying series 2 is the one with Tennant. Just joking. What are we doing? What else we got here? What we got? Rose is saying to us, what's Rose saying? I think I was on a different planet or not conscious of any programming of Doctor Who until 12 days before the 60th anniversary specials. What's that mean? What do you mean,
I
Rose?
kind of agree. It wasn't really overly publicised, I didn't think.
No, they didn't train it very much at all.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Rose. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
they
didn't
the name
bother.
of Tennant would have done it.
Yeah.
They didn't bother at all.
Just those crappy trailers with his sonic screwdriver, I remember doing all that kind of nonsense, you know.
Yeah. Here we've got here with Lex. Hello, Lex. Can't wait for that real season 2 review of William Hartnell Doctor Who. Yeah, very appropriate. I hope you all find as well in the November year. 61 years of Doctor Who next month, of course. That, you know, and it just so happens that they're bringing out the standard edition of season 2 in the December. It all fits very nicely, doesn't it? Problem being is also saying hashtag justice for Time Lash. And Atherstone55 is saying, well, I messed up. I voted on both tabs. Well, you very naughty. Very naughty. That's all right. It's okay. Time Lord Victorious wants us to review the Space Museum. And David Harding is saying, I voted for the Crusade. This is exciting, isn't it?
So can you vote twice out of interest?
I'd rather you didn't, to be quite honest. I'd rather you didn't. But, you know, I'd rather you did. I can't stop you all.
Now, isn't it?
One person, one vote.
It wouldn't stop Doctor Who fans to fix something, would it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I know. Let's have a look. I noticed, as Raymond, it's now Gatwa and no longer Shooty. That's a sign, is it? Ooh, you are naughty, Raymond, but we like you. And our resident poet laureate is here with us. Mark is with us. Mark Milford. New Who's ratings are terrible. The reviews are abysmal, and there's no merchandise to speak of. In fact, the show was in a better position when it was off the air. I agree. Yeah, I've said it before. I agree. Yeah. It really was. And this was what we always feared as well, guys, wasn't it? Remember when the show was off air, we were in the wilderness years, we were worried it would come back and not be good. And here we are. Here we are. It's been watered down, and now it's a show for activists by activists. It's such a shame. It really, really is. I've started them off. I love Time Lash on original transmission, especially the Borat fad makeup, says Graham. Yeah, speak to Phil.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
You
The
can start
voice. Oh, the voice.
The Vandals are superb as well, aren't they?
Andy's Vinyl, nice to see you, mate. I voted for The Crusade. Julian Glover and G. Marsh, great supporting cast. Yeah. And Terrified Monk is saying, I didn't vote because I don't know any of the episodes. That's brilliant. So you can join us for the winner of the viewer's choice for season 2, and hopefully you can learn something by that one. And it might
put the web planet down if you're not sure.
It might get you buying the season 2 Blu-ray box set on standard edition on December the 2nd. Might nip Terrified Monk. There you go.
Are you commission from the BBC, JT? Just checking.
I wish I was, I tell you. Goodness me. Garbage is saying, I'm going to vote 30 times, just like I watched Rogue. And Time Lord Victoria says, do you accept bribes, JT? Well, depends what you got in mind. You can get in touch with me.
Well, what's the context of this question?
Yeah, whosviews1@gmail.com. You can get in touch. Yes, I am that fickle. Anyway, where are we up to now? Thanks everybody for joining us. You're watching Who's Views. This is Headlines. We are continuing with Gatwa Gagged Part 2 as the Doctor Who fallout of the Graham Norton interview continues. And what a week it has been for it. I've used the word twice now, but embarrassment is absolutely what I felt this week. Looking at all this nonsense, just thinking, why don't they just tell people? Why is it so secret? Now, the other thing that's coming on at the moment as well about this is this story, which has come from comicbookmovie.com. Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa is reportedly not long for Doctor role as season 3 plans remain up in the air. Now, this is coming off the back of the Graham Norton interview, everybody, and the edit of what he said, Nicola's article in the Daily Mirror, and then you know what goes on. This is why I'm calling the domino theory, and it expands and expands and expands. However, as I said last Sunday when we were talking about this, the parallels between what is going on now and what went on with the Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall era are uncanny, aren't they? We can all see them. And if you remember, there were all these similar stories then, and they were all true. That's all I'm saying.
It's a bit like that moment in the Christmas Invasion when Tennant says, doesn't she look tired? And that's all kind of happened, you know.
Except now, for political reasons, we say, don't they look tired?
Yes, of course, yes.
And well, actually, I can encompass all of them now, can't it? So,
yeah.
Aha! Let's go on with this story from comicbookmovie.com. A new report reveals that Ncuti Gatwa's stint as Doctor Who's Time Lord could be nearing its end. And once again, season 3 is far from a guarantee, despite the second batch of episodes having been shot. A few months ago, we learned, that's comicbookmovie.com, that Doctor Who's future isn't as safe as most fans expected after the BBC and Disney Plus teamed up to produce RTD's splashy new revival of the long-running sci-fi series. How's that going for you? Ratings didn't take off in the way executives expected. And it appears Disney Plus might be regretting its investment in a show that hasn't been the draw for subscribers the studio initially expected. Season 2 has already been shot, and last week, Whovians, I hate that term, seemingly received some good news when Ncuti Gatwa appeared on the Graham Norton show and revealed, quote, we did the second series this year, the Christmas special is coming up, and we are filming a third series next year, end quote. While that quote was shared with the BBC, with the press by BBC, when the chat show aired, edits had been made to change the actor's quote, as we know. Deadline via sffgazette.com has spoken to the BBC, with the channel claiming it didn't request any alterations to what Gatwa said. Instead, the change was put down to wanting to liven up the interview. However, a spokesperson states, as we've said previously, the decision on season 3 will be made after season 2 transmits. And as always, we don't comment on speculation. Now, the BBC do that sort of stuff. It's about time they realize what is speculation and what's bad for the show and do comment. The story continues. The trade adds that while Doctor Who Season 2 will likely air in the spring, that's next year, Disney remains uncertain about whether it will continue to co-produce the show beyond 2025. The BBC is unlikely to give up the series, but if Disney walks away, but the House of Mouse's departure would lead to significant budget cuts. It appears the series is close to losing Gatwa because a source tells them that he might not be long for the job due to exploring other roles. In July, we learned that Disney is expected to step in once the War Between the Land and the Sea spin-off wraps, and a decision should be made quickly. One source believes the season 2 finale has been shot in a way to allow Gatwa to move on from the series, hinting that another creative overhaul might take place. The prospect of Disney Plus parting ways with the BBC and Doctor Who has been described as a disaster by one source. Where has it gone wrong for the series? Many fans have taken issue with Davis's creative decisions and lack of classic villains. Meanwhile, Gatwa, barely being featured in 2 of the 8 episodes due to scheduling conflicts with Sex Education, also did little to help establish him as the Doctor with newcomers and returning viewers alike. Well, to comicbookmovie.com, we can say to you here on Who's Views, everything went wrong. The past few years before this alleged reboot came in, that was wrong. This was wrong. 2 miscasts, 2 production teams who didn't care, were out of touch completely with not just the fan base, the all-important fan base, but the public. Too much agenda, too many this and that, too much accusation of their audience. Where do we stop? Go back and watch all our shows. It's all there documented over the year.
How many times can they just change production team and regenerate the Doctor? They've already killed the regeneration idea to death, literally, because they've no respect for that concept at all. And it's been abused since New Who came back completely.
Totally.
So it's like, how many times can they do this? I mean, 3rd time lucky, really? I don't think so, you know?
Is it 3rd time lucky, though?
If you're counting Jodie shooting someone new, that's, you know,
Tennant.
in terms of,
It was a mistake.
I suppose,
Tennant
yeah.
As well.
Don't really count them, but yeah.
Mistake.
Sorry,
it was a complete mistake bringing Tennant back. There was no point to it whatsoever. No point. It was just admitting that the previous 3 years had been horrendous, and they were trying desperately to claw some people back through interest.
Yeah.
But of course, they went straight for your throat with the woke stuff. So it backfired.
Totally. And that's what I mean about them being completely out of touch. But this is the BBC. The BBC is totally out of touch now as well with the British public. Just look at how many people you've lost over the last 3 years on your license fee, you strange, loony people. JT, why lie about it? They just needed to say he spoke out of turn. Exactly, Paul.
Yeah.
All they could have done is said, oh, he's enthusiastic. They could have flourished it, couldn't they? Oh, he's eager to get back to the role of the Doctor. He was speaking a little bit ahead. He was just enthusiastic. The deal hasn't been signed.
Yeah. They could have easily mopped up the mess quite easily.
Totally.
Yeah.
And yet, because they refused to play the game, because they refused to say anything, and that's what leads me to believe that that article might be correct. Maybe they are parting ways with their leading man.
And this new actor who was speculated about a couple of shows ago might be the new Doctor, which is a clone of Ncuti.
I'm willing to say I don't know if it's going to. I don't think it has a future. I don't think it has a future. I think it's just when. I think it's when and how.
But they're very good at flogging a dead horse, aren't they? And they keep doing it. You know,
Well, totally. I mean, it's just, and that is really. Again, as a Doctor Who fan, it hurts, doesn't it? You're saying flogging a dead horse, but we are the horse, and you can feel the whipping.
Well, it was.
As I said before, I wanted to like this era. When Russell came back, I thought, great, this is going to be good. And how disappointed was I, you know? But
it was dead with Whittaker, really. And what they've been doing is mad attempts at CPR and putting electric through it. So you're just trying to jumpstart a corpse, really. And it's not going to go anywhere. At some point, they've got to just call it and say time of death. And that's it. I agree with you, JT. I think it's done. And it pains me to say it, but I think it's done. If you carry it on and just drag it out, you may have some moderate success if you get a decent actor in, but you're still going to be doing it on the back of him and Tennant and her and all the dross that was there. All you're doing is reinforcing that was part of it. I would rather it just died and then just work on the assumption all this isn't actually canon at all. It's just a separate alternate universe pile of.
That's where I think we are already, because it is dead. Let's face it, it's dead. Yeah. And I think we're going to have great fun in what's coming actually for the next 9 episodes of the alleged Doctor Who, as we see it. You know, well, it's not going to be fun to watch it really being flogged, but it's going to be fun looking at the outcome and what happens with the ratings, etc., etc., etc. Because I think it is dead. I think that's where it is, and I think once it comes off the air, that's where we're all going to be. Like, I already know that the Whittaker and Gatwa eras are not Doctor Who for me. Don't count. It's not with Capaldi. I think many of our fellow fans out there think the same thing. I really, really do. I think it's a minority that are desperate to cling on to this thing and not let it go. That will always continue it. Peter Venkman is saying to us here, waiting for the reveal that 13 plus were just random aliens who thought oh crap, I'm giving them ideas to poorly execute. I'm sorry, guys. And Problem Being is saying to us, the only way for Doctor Who to survive is not only to Disney to bugger off, but Bad Wolf and RTD, as well as the entire BBC culture. I totally agree. And that's going to take years. However, there are... Are you seeing this on various platforms? All these rumors that apparently Disney is doing this creative turnaround now. That will have an effect on everybody else in the industry. If it's true, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. More about that from people like the Critical Drinker who know far more about it than I do. But go and have a look at them. And Robert Payne is saying creative decisions is a heck of a euphemism.
I was going to say, when Doctor Who was in trouble in the 80s, around about Collins' time, and they managed to bring it back for 25, 26, and it was starting to be really good. I think there's too much damage done to recover and do that again.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I just don't think it's ever got a market now, because there's not enough people invested in it now to love it and cherish it like we all did, to be able to say in 15, 20 years, oh, I'm old enough now to reinvent that show and bring it back. Because it's not there. Yeah. It's really not there.
Those of us that would see it through thick and thin and would really forgive a lot of things, we've been told quite categorically to F off, and it's not for us.
Exactly.
So we've F'd off. It isn't for us. We know that, but we're not coming back. There's nothing they can do. We are not coming back. So they're preaching to an empty hall, really.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Yeah, we've got that. Mike Disney's with us. Hello, Mike. Try Generation next time. My head is also. Oh, please. Oh, please. Oh.
Well, what's going to happen is there's talk about a secret project. I've heard about that. We'll maybe get to another time, but they're doing a secret project. It's probably
I mean, this is the thing. That are they? I don't even know if that's going to be a series or something. Let's not jump the gun. It could be a Children in Need special. A thing. It could be a comic relief thing. I think it's going to be something cheap because they are all out of contract. Let's remember that. All the actors are out of contract. Nibbles is saying to us, yes, Davros Gate. Let's all please remember what RTD has done to Davros. Okay, let's all remember that. It's very important. Nibbles is saying Davros Gate, but we continue releasing the figures because Davros still sells. And do you know who? I got my Emperor Dalek one there, you know, from the character options from B&M. And I you know how you look on Facebook to see where things are? Lots of young people. I'm talking little ones, little pictures of them with their Davros. You know, and I thought, look what he's just taken away from them. They're not seeing anything else except the creation of the Daleks. They're not looking into it because children don't. They're just seeing the alien, aren't they? They're seeing what we saw as Davros, and he took that away from them. Let's not forget Davros Gate, everybody. Mark Greaves is saying to us, I think the casting of the last two Masters has been woeful. I think the casting has been woeful in practically everything, apart from the little girl they had. What was her name? Millie Gibson. I thought she was very good.
Yeah, she was very good. Yeah, whoever she was.
And I think she's got a nice career ahead of her.
And her figure is a dead ringer for her, I'll have to say.
Oh, you mean the action figure? I was just about to say, don't be that sort of show.
With Gatwa's legs.
Yes, I noticed that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's the legs they'll have for the one of these pants we'll be getting later. So.
Yeah.
Oh, the kill.
Woke politics, crap acting and writing, wrong structure they forgot to mention, says Time Lord Victorious. Yeah. And Robert Payne, I agree. Tennant damaged his reputation by returning and being spoken down to as a doctor, and then some. He has attacked LGB and women, hasn't he, with his devotion to the TQ cult and his obvious lack of information, education and awareness, because he's jumped on a bandwagon just like the rest of them. You're listening to the wrong people, David. I can assure you, as a gay man, wrong.
Do you remember our speculation before when Tennant was brought in and then they did the bioregeneration, that Tennant was going to be kept there as a spare in case this goes wrong? It's too late.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. So I wonder if he will change back into Tennant for a bit, and they'll try and revive it for a bit. It's not going to work, I know, but
it won't work. And RTT has said he's not going back to Tennant. That is done. I bet he's regretting doing all that nonsense now.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
You know, and him trying to be clever by making a new incarnation of the Doctor, where they should have just ended it with Whittaker, and then gone back to the 10th Doctor and Donna in that time, like any other normal person would have done, like Terence or Barry or John or Eric. You know, they would have done that, wouldn't they?
Well, they would have never messed it up in the first place. To be honest,
that's true. Because they never did they? All those successive teams over 26 years, they didn't mess with the continuity. They didn't say, "Oh, here's this." And,
not on purpose, anyway. But
no. Well, we still don't know why Tennant's Doctor returned to Super Love. There are so many open questions. Why did he regenerate into that form? Why was he clothed? How long was he in the body? Don't get me started. Don't get me started. The talons of Wayne Chiang. Nice to see you. To be fair, the Mirror have a really good track record on their Doctor Who reporting and rumours. They do. They absolutely do. And Nicola knows people. As I said before, she knows people. She will hear things that the rest of us can't really hear now because it's all being clamped down. You have to be in the industry to hear things in the industry. But you're right there, Talons. It's good to see you. Ho, 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 ho to you. Brian Blessed as Doctor Who could save the show. Is he still alive? He is still alive, but he's far too old now, in my opinion. Sorry, Brian. You are, love. Far too old. He's
at least you would be able to hear him. He would be mumbling all the time.
You'd hear him over the music, wouldn't you?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've never liked that idea of Brian. In the Wilderness years, I was outraged, gentlemen, in a British way. I was outraged when somebody would say, "Oh, Brian Blessed would be the next Doctor Who." I was so outraged. I used to go,
"Yeah." Like I've said before, it's a certain actor can play Doctor Who, and as much as Brian's a great actor, he's not Doctor Who, I don't think.
Yeah, true. Daryl Joyce is saying to us, pretty offensive to replace him with an actor that looks similar, if that rumour is true. Yeah, we talked about that the other week there as well, didn't we? That is, and it's just silly. And that's going against...
That wouldn't surprise me, though, honestly. It really wouldn't,
Well, why would you bother? I mean, it goes against the whole thing about each incarnation. Believe it or not, everybody, if you're new to Doctor Who, you might not know this, but each incarnation is supposed to be a different facet of the Time Lord, which they got right for 7 consecutive Doctors to an extent, because each of them seemed to be a contrast. Really, there's that part of his persona, there's that part of his persona, there's that, and yet still contain the fact that it wasn't recognizably something that went through them all, which I still can't put my finger on actually, but it was there. They've lost it all now because it seems to be about ego. Robbie Bonham is also saying to a second Wilderness years afoot and bring it on. Yeah. Bring it on, Robbie, I say. The sooner the better.
It saw the emergence of some real creativity, those Wilderness years.
Yeah.
It really did. Some of them got onto the show, though, Ian.
Sorry?
Some of them got onto the show, though.
Well, yeah. But, one of the crappiest books of that era was the one that Russell T Davies wrote, I think.
It was
damaged goods. Yeah.
It wasn't a good read at all. I don't think.
It was too much. Everybody knows now I can't stand the term Whovian. I've said it before. I couldn't stand it in the 80s when it came over from America. We were just Doctor Who fans, but it's a tradition in America that you get branded and labelled Trekkie and whatever, whatever. But I don't like it. And Lex Kane knows this and says, can Doctor Who fans, true fans, be called Time Lords? No. Doctor Who fan, Lex. Putting my foot down. But no, thank you very much for your super chat. Graham is saying, so agree, Paul. It's far too damaged. This is a million times worse than the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even know who the Doctor is. It's not the same character anymore. That's not William Hartnell's Doctor.
Because even then, though, Colin was getting, 7-8 million in season 22, but 5 in season 23. And then because still getting more than what Shooty got, Don't get me started on Battlefield again. Where's Bedware when I need him for figures?
Okay. What else we got? Thank you, everybody, for joining us again. It's good to see you all. We are talking about, as I say here on Headlines, that headline that won't go away this week, and how embarrassing it's been, and how much damage is this doing to the show, and do Bad Wolf and BBC Studios actually care? Does Russell care? Does anybody care? Is it just us that sees the damage it's doing, not just within fandom, which is irreparably damaged now, in my opinion, but also with the public who just are looking at this going, oh, Doctor Who again, what's going on there now? Oh no, oh, they've got the gay one. Oh no, oh, it's the woman. Oh no, it's got the turn the page, don't watch the show.
Yeah.
You know, it's so sad. There are some people that are arguing the other side of things. Let's have a just look at this one, please, from everybody. This is from bleedingcool.com. The actors are not fired because there is no show to be fired from right now. Now, we can't really argue with that because there isn't, and they're all out of contract. But it goes on to say this: the BBC is not Hollywood, thank goodness, and operates differently. They have only ever always renewed a series of Doctor Who and every other series by the year. This means neither Ncuti Gatwa nor Millie Gibson are fired. Unlike Hollywood, where TV networks sign actors to a 7-year contract commitment in case the series becomes a big hit and the actors demand higher salaries when their contract is up for renewal, actors on a BBC series only get their contracts renewed by the year. This has been the case with every Doctor and companion for every year the series has been on the air, whether it was Tennant, Smith or Capaldi. That's why Davies is still optimistic that Gatwa will return for a 3rd season, and Gatwa cannot say whether he's in the 3rd season yet because there is no official renewal yet. And shorter seasons mean actors can go take other jobs like Gibson has been with a new ITV adaptation of the Forsyte Saga, and Gatwa can spend the rest of 24 on stage in the new West End production of Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest. The difference with that Bleeding Cool is that we know that Millie Gibson has left. She's not coming back.
Yeah.
She's gone. She's coming back for season 2, which is filmed for 3 or 4 episodes, but she's not coming back for any 3rd version.
And there's a thing called contract renewal, which I'm not going to do.
Bleeding Cool, I think, is bleeding wrong because when Doctor Who came back in 2005, they confirmed series 2 and 3 at the same time.
Yeah.
Which
That's
was
true.
Tennant renewed for 2 years.
Yes.
So they're wrong.
Because it was a massive hit, wasn't it? It took everybody by surprise. It was a massive hit. Bang, get everybody signed up now. Bang. Yeah. And they knew where they were. And when that happens for an actor, it's relief, isn't it? Oh, you know.
But they always have a get-out clause, an option to stop the contract, you know. So it's not like if you're booked for 5 years or 7 years, they have an option to change it. I mean, look at Paul McGann, you know.
Yeah. Oh, don't mention Paul McGann. I'm still...
Sorry,
it could have been so different, couldn't it? It could have been so different, everybody. Yeah. Lex, again, thank you so much again for your super chat. Could you do a review on the favourite Doctor Who episode, Inferno, for my 45th birthday on Wednesday, the 4th of December? No worries if cannot. Well, unfortunately, the December schedule is busy, so we can't. But stay with us in January. That's all I'm saying. We are celebrating the legend that is John Pertwee again in January. Think about it.
Inferno's a cracker. Lex, definitely, yeah.
Inferno is a cracker, but
we've got in such a wondrous set of stories.
You know us, Lex. We're going to get to that one, but we've got plans for
I've got to do Time Lash first.
We've got to do Time Lash first. Yes, but oh gosh. I told you it was a big show, everybody. Keep your comments coming through. This is Headlines. It's the 20th of October, 2024. I'm here, as you can see, with Paul, the 3rd Doctor, Ian. We have got so much to talk to you about. That was the story that just isn't going away. I wonder if it's going to stay with us for this week. Well, here we are then. Yes, nice to see you all. Thank you for joining us. Wow, this is good, isn't it? Well, guess what? It is October, as I've mentioned. Got lots coming up for you on the channel over the next couple of months as we all prepare to spread joy to the world. Stony ground. But do you know what we might need? We might need a show that's full of joy and fun, mightn't we, guys? We might go. And that could be coming very soon, because guess what I got this weekend?
Ooh.
Yes, indeed. You may know, if you're a regular here on the channel, we were promoting Daryl's Moments in Time calendar 2025. Look at this, everyone. Look at this.
That looks so glossy.
It is out of the wrapper.
Oh, he's opened it.
I have opened it because I've had a look. I've had a look of this. I got mine this weekend. If you have ordered Daryl's calendar, keep an eye on your letterbox, because I'm sure it'll be coming through your slot very soon. What am I saying? But yes, look at this. That's all I'm going to show you right now. I can't even show you the back. I can't even. But this, if you have ordered it,
that looks amazing.
It really does. Yeah.
Cannot wait. Can't wait. Honestly,
I've seen some other of Daryl's pictures on his Facebook page, reimagining of Doctor Who monsters. Superb, Daryl, by the way, superb.
Yeah, he's great on X as well.
The Zygon superb, the Roboman, the lots of different, the Axon.
The Roboman was brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, you'll know if you've seen. If you've seen our shows where we were helping to promote this, that we did show you some of the artwork. Daryl very kindly gave us some of the artwork for this. We didn't show them all. There are 13 brand new bits of artwork from Daryl in this calendar. And as soon as Paul and Ian here on the show get theirs, we're going to be doing this. Watch out for our Who's Views Merchandise Paradise Live review show of Daryl's brand new calendar, where we'll be reviewing it month by month. That's on the way. So as an old friend of mine used to say, stay tuned. Keep an eye out. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you have subscribed to the channel, make sure you are still subscribed to the channel and then join us for that. And if you have bought that calendar, keep an eye out because it's on the way to you. There you go. Graham is saying to us here, I can't wait to get mine at Daryl Joyce. Your book is gorgeous. What else we got here? Paul Rose is saying to me, why JT, you big T's? Yes, I know. Yeah. Talent is saying, cool. Graham is going to say, I'm well up for this show. If I can bring that up there. Look at this. The chat is going so quickly now. There we go. Graham is saying that. Yeah, my slot was open. Yeah, it came through the play. John Steed, where can I buy one? John, you'll have to get in touch with us at whosviews1@gmail.com. Whosviews1@gmail.com. I'll see what I can do for you. Stunning artwork, says Paul Richards. Let's have a look. Atom is with us. Hello, Atom. It's nice to see you. Shh. Nobody heard it from me. That's all I'll say. Give it 3 years, and I bet we will see different Doctor Who again, assuming things transpire the way it looks like it could be going. The brilliant thing, the thing about that, Atom, is the British public don't care about Doctor Who now. And without the British public, there's no show. Well, and as Paul was saying there, it's flogging a dead horse. Just let it go. Let this be the last one. Let it rest. Problem being is saying, hope his calendar arrives soon. Brilliant work, Atom is saying here. Yes, it is. It's, wait till you see it. And Stephen Braddock is saying,
Atom's looking very sharp there. Looking very sharp.
Yeah.
He was, wasn't he? Yeah. Daryl's calendar, says Marjorie, will sell more than the Doctor Who Whittaker Gatwa era did.
And then some.
And then some, probably, yes. What else we got? There's Kirsty reminding you all of the email address, whosviews1@gmail.com. Yes, you can get in touch with us about that if you've got any queries. What else we got that? Great art. I draw Who stuff myself, says Robbie. Well, yeah, you do. I'm sure you've sent us some art in before, haven't you, Robbie? Feel free to do so again. Whosviews1@gmail.com. Rose is saying to us, I don't think I can stick around a fourth time it gets cancelled. It's bringing back too many painful memories. I might have to think about the Christmas special. If you don't watch the Christmas special, come and watch us first on our review, and then you can decide whether you want to go and see it. Yeah. Honestly, I
reckon based on our review so far, you want to watch it.
Oh God! Oh God! I'll have to overdose on chocolate to watch it.
I think so. Yeah, or something. Yeah.
That's it. Great there. Daryl's work is gorgeous. So talented, says Graham. And Julianne, my calendar is on the way. I got an email notification a day or two ago. There you go. I reckon you should get it over the next few days then, because if I got mine this weekend, it can't be far behind you for all of you. I'm excited to get my calendar, said Richard. Komodo, show us. We will be showing you in our special show.
You'd think he was keen, wouldn't you? Komodo.
Yeah. So will that be January when we do January's first one? Is that
no. We are going to do the special show as soon as you and Ian have yours. Because I know that
we're looking at each month. I wondered if you're going to do that. Yeah.
We'll probably show it each month as we go through the year. I'll look at we'll do something like that. But I know Ian, you wanted to tap and unwrap yours live on the show, didn't you?
Yeah, I think if we.
What you're talking about the calendar? Yeah.
If we keep it without looking until we start, Paul, the reactions at least will be genuine.
Okay.
No previews.
So stay tuned, because we could be here doing that show this week. As soon as these two have had theirs, I know I've opened mine, but if they open theirs live on the show, if they want to do that, then we will do that and get their reactions as well as yours. So yeah, we'll go with stay tuned. Make sure that you're with us. Got my email saying it's coming soon in the post. We'll take a selfie when I get it. Yes, please, Lex, and send it to us. If you can all do that if you want, share that with us. whosviews1@gmail.com. And Raymond is saying, at last, something to look forward to. Marjorie is also saying, well done, Daryl. It is a lovely calendar. I think everybody's going to like it. And Daryl is saying to us, if you have bought the calendar, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Thank you for drawing it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I
can't wait.
to get it.
It's literally our pleasure, Daryl. It says John Mason. Isn't it just? Isn't it just? Touch tinsel and turkey on Christmas Day, says Lee Smith. And Talons is saying on another issue, I got my Who's Views t-shirts and mug this week. Oh, I'm pleased about that. Thank you so much for that, Talons. Send me a picture if you would of you with them if you want to. Who's Views 1@gmail.com. We'll pop it in a future show, and let me know what you think of it. I want to make sure everything's all right. Julianne was telling me that hers was last week. She was saying hers were good, so that's great. What we got here, Richard saying to us, I'm honoured and thrilled to own your wonderful calendar, Daryl. Great. And John is saying no, thank you, sir, to Daryl. Really looking forward to doing this show. Problem being, he's saying I'm really looking forward to receiving it. Not the first time he said that. Anyway, Matty, hello to you, Matty. Looking forward to it. And Stephen Braddock is also saying thank you to Daryl as well. Oh, and Talons is saying will do. Great, fantastic. We're going to have a great time on our run up to the next Doctor Who episode. So watch out for that show. It's on the way, everybody. Talking about shows. Have you heard the BBC do an official podcast?
Do they?
I think we mentioned it briefly on headlines before.
Oh yeah.
Didn't seem to, make any headway or anything, did it?
No, it didn't. It was fairly awful as far as I remember.
Yeah. Well, it's up for an award. This was from BBC Studios itself. For all podcast fans, plus the podcast has been nominated at the People's Lovey Awards. The public decides who wins. There are 4 good reasons not to watch this blooming thing there.
Yeah. One particular one, definitely. Yeah.
Well,
just see fast forwarding things.
Was that an ice cream cone on its head?
They're up for an award. Can you just imagine the people that are paid to love the blooming thing? It's just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, it's propaganda. What are these lovely awards anyway? Heaven's sake.
No idea.
Listen, there's better shows and there's better streams out there all over the place, isn't there? Rather than the official one where they wouldn't even dare say anything negative about anything. Can you imagine? No. None of us are going to get onto it.
Have we had the Welsh BAFTAs yet? Have they won anything yet?
We haven't had any of the BAFTAs yet. I'm poised. I'm poised. Yeah, it didn't win anything at the. I think we have had the National Television Awards, haven't we?
Yeah, and
I think we had the NTAs. Yeah,
didn't win anything at the NTAs. Surprise! Because
I'm on tenterhooks at the moment, waiting for the results of the NAFTAs. So yeah.
Oh, they are. Yeah. Well, listen, I don't know about you lot, but I've been out and about on my travels over the last few days, and I saw something which was of concern recently in Blackpool. And I don't know about you, but I got a little bit worried when I saw this.
Is that a mechanoid?
It's that new Sontaran ship, isn't it?
Ooh, that's what I thought. I thought immediately, Did it
shoot his glowing right testicle?
Stop that right now.
Has he had an accident?
But behave. Well, I thought Sontaran, and immediately I saw this, as you can tell. But yeah, so if you are out and about in Blackpool, or if you're in Blackpool, then that thing is near the new Holiday Inn. So you can go and
that's
see
where
that.
The Sultans are staying, is it?
Yes, they're staying in there. No, they're not. The staff were lovely in there. Hello to everybody at the Holiday Inn. Nice. Thank you for being so lovely. The new Holiday Inn.
One went in, 2000 came out.
Yes, exactly. Paul Rose, how very dare you? It was me. It was, although a friend did say, you're the Sontaran, how dare you? He said, got the same hairstyle. Sontar Hart, yeah. And yeah, Sontarans have landed and we have no doctor. And Forbidden Man saying, no, keep the same hairdo, JT. Cheeky Forbidden Man. What's it all about? But there you go. I just thought it was funny. That, of course, is part of their the Blackpool. The illuminations are not what they used to be. But they have these things all about the place, different art installation, lighting installation things. Some of them are actually brilliant.
So this lights up, does it?
It lights up blue from the inside.
Lovely.
Well, I saw it when it was blue.
Glowing.
Yeah, it glows. Yeah, but it just immediately thought, oh, there's a Sontaran about. Hey ho, there's a Sontaran about. There we go. And that's a giant Xmas tree bauble, says Paul Richards. And Lex is saying they're invading Blackpool. They won't stay long. The Sontarans, of course,
first time they've been Sontarans in Blackpool.
I was going to say they've been there before, haven't they? In the good old days, we had them there. Oh, happy days there. This is a show, of course, of sequels, and if you like, because we continued the discussion we were having last week. As all that goes on, it's going to be interesting to see whether the fallout continues into this week, and if it does, we'll be here next week. Then let's see where it goes with that one. You know what's going on with all because he went on to Graham Norton and the edited things. I mean, come on, again, careless, isn't it? Really? Yeah. And who gave the order? Do you think it was RTD? Do you think it was Bad Wolf? Who gave the order to say, just snip that, will you? I bet they're regretting it now because they've had more press and fan interest this week than they've had all year. Such a bitch. Anyway.
He spoiled the surprise. Is that what they're worried about?
Maybe there's a surprise in store for poor old Mr. Gatwa that he didn't know about.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Last week, Paul, as you were working, you might not know, but we discussed this last week. This was from Lee Binding. And remember, these are now the colours for the next unannounced Doctor Who collection set. And he was putting out the challenge there between you and me. What do you think it could be? So everybody had a go, didn't they? They all had a go. Now, this week, however, have you seen this particular thing? Because somebody tried to get a little bit clever and in on the act. I'm not being nasty in any way, but that's where it comes across. And it's possibly shot them in the foot. Have a look at this from Richard Bignell, who took to X to say, how lovely to take delivery of my Doctor Who Season 25 collection this afternoon. Luckily, and quite by chance, it manages to upscore all the important details of the script page on my laptop that's destined for the next unannounced title, Phew. The problem was, it didn't. Now, because this tweet has now been deleted, allegedly, so I've been told this afternoon before we came on air, apparently it's now gone. That is now missing. However, I've got it, and I'm not going to actually say to any of you, oh, you can zoom in if you can on this on your.
No, I tried that.
You can't do that, but unfortunately for Mr. Bignell, it doesn't, and the screen actually does confirm what we all know. That's all I'm saying. But it's coming. An announcement's on the way. I've heard the announcement for this particular box set will be in November with a release date of January 2025. That's all I'm saying. Because it's all speculation, it's all rumor, it's all what I'm being told. But you can put two and two together, can't you?
Can I check if the poor Mr. Bignell been cancelled now? What's happened to him?
Well, I don't know, but can you imagine?
It is a bit of a gaff to make, isn't it?
It is a bit, yeah.
A huge gaff, really. And again, it's just a case of.
I think years ago as well.
The thing is, though, everyone seems to guess what the next one's going to be. I'm not going to say what it is, or what I think it is, but everyone seems to guess before it comes out what it's going to be, don't they? So, who are they trying to hide this from?
I think, if I remember rightly, and this is all alleged because I can't remember rightly, but I think it was either Richard or one of his colleagues years and years and years ago on a previous iteration of Outpost Gallifrey made a comment saying, I don't think we would ever see Doctor Who box sets on DVD because they'd just be too expensive. So poo-pooed the whole idea of ever being box sets. And here we are, hundreds of box sets later.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all planned there as well. And they were so successful. We've now also got Blake 7 in the mix.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So there we go. I like this. Thank you for all of your comments on this one. You're all clever. John is saying to us, the Gatwa Steelbook is in the shape of a boomerang, so you can't get rid of it. And Stephen is also saying this is the worst kept secret ever.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Paul Rose is saying to us here, he's still on the rack. The lashes haven't finished yet. A lot of you, I guess. I mean, we've known about this for quite a while, but again, they have to try and keep it secret. If this is what they're trying to do about building up an anticipation and excitement and interest, it's very bad marketing because we're fans and we get to hear, just tell us, just be truthful. I know this is a word that you lot don't really understand or appreciate, but as Stephen Braddock said, it is the worst kept secret ever. Come on, just be honest with us, especially right now, because people will save up their money for it. You know, it's just absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Come on, guys, grow up, please. John Steed is also Blake 7 for Christmas. Yes, Blake 7 Series 1 to Blu-ray in the same format as the Doctor Who standard editions, which is lovely, and I can't wait to see it myself. Bill Lowry saying at £60, I didn't get the Gatwa Steelbook in the first place. Well, why would you? £60? Where are you? I thought it was 40.
I thought it was 50, but I could be wrong. But yeah.
Any advance on 50 and 60? Anybody? Come on, there we go. 100 bucks sold.
Oh, he's talking about the steel book's more expensive than the normal one, isn't it? I think that's what the problem is. Yeah,
exactly. I'm not going to read this out, but thank you to Randy Batswinger for this. That's very, very naughty, but that's the other side of fandom. That's what we are all like, really. So thank you, Randy Batswinger. Randy Batswinger, you're going to get me into trouble for even saying that one, I'm sure. John is also saying, I'm used the Jodie Steelbook as a doorstop. Why on earth did you buy it? And Richard Brooks saying to us, Gammon Gatwa Steelbooks will be rust books. And what's this to it? Paul Rose saying, JT, it's just like The Simpsons. Homer, don't follow Lenny and Carl. No, Marge, I'm just going out to follow Lenny and Carl. That's fair enough, that one, isn't it? Fair enough there. Well, yeah, gosh, that's on the way, though. But I'm going to show you again.
Hopefully there should be a trailer next month sometime announcing it, hopefully, yeah.
Well, we were expecting something, weren't we? We were expecting something. Hi, Paul Roughton, who's joined us there as well. And Randy Batswinger. Thanks for your emoji. What's Paul Roughton saying to us? Wouldn't take Gatwa or Whittaker DVD and Blu-ray if it was free. Neither would I, mate. Yeah. Oh, and John is saying his copy was an unwanted present. Oh, and somebody thought about it as well and got you that one. That's a shame.
Give it to someone else.
Yeah. Do you know what? Get it on eBay and sell it to those people that take it. That's what I say. Anyway, put an extra 20 quid on it.
But that audience don't buy the merch, do they? They've said so.
Yeah, merchandise.
Yeah.
Merchandise. Always merchandise. Yeah. No, they don't, though, do they? They don't. But there you go. Well, listen, a huge thank you to everybody for joining us tonight as we spoke about this fella again and what will go down in Doctor Who history as the now infamous Graham Norton show becoming famous because of this edit, this poorly executed and judged edit of what he said, because of probably a business deal that isn't sorted and finalized yet. It really isn't. I hope we've discussed it all properly for you in the show. I know you guys really have in the chat here why they just can't tell us what's going on. Why, as Toy used to say, it's a mystery. I don't understand what's going on there at all. Do you guys? I don't think any of us do.
Are they hoping the audience reaction to season 2 will be better than season 1 or worse? Is that what the problem is? I mean, it's going to be much the same as we had before. People have not changed much of it. They've changed anything at all. So it'll be exactly the same response, you'd imagine. Rubbish.
It's going to be going in the same direction, isn't it? It's the same message in the same track, in the same way.
There we go. Woodhouse122 is saying says the Jodie era steelbooks can be exchanged at CEX for 60 quid each. Really?
Really?
That seems an awful lot. I suppose because
it's a steelbook. Value of the steel, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be, mustn't it?
Yeah.
Which probably
they'll chuck away the DVDs and just melt down the box. They'll be.
Yeah. It doesn't come from Sheffield anymore either, so it's worth zilch.
Yeah.
Zilch. Problem being, I don't care. It's not Doctor Who anyway. It died years ago. Yeah, well, I think we're all on a similar page there. And very circular. Norton on episode 1 of New Who, and they're mixed up in the end of New Who 2. Amen. True. Actually, that's quite true because we all know what happened on Rose, where he butted in. Not his fault, of course. It was a technical issue. But there we go. That's us for tonight. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Paul and Third Doctor Ian as ever. Thank you very, very much. Thank you to you lot for watching us and being so fantastic in our chat. We really do appreciate it with this. Let's see if this story continues into this week. It's going to be interesting. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out, because as I say, as soon as these two have their Daryl Joyce calendar 2025,
can't wait.
We will be back with our review show of Daryl's calendar. So keep an eye out for that one. Please come and join us for that. We'll be doing it live. Merchandise Paradise Live coming your way. Also, don't forget, whenever they drop a headline, we're going to be here to talk about it. Until we see you next time on Who's Views, give us a thumbs up. It does help the shows. And we'll see you again soon. From Paul, from Third Doctor Ian and myself, look after yourselves. We'll see you again very soon. Have a great night. Have a great day. Ta-ra.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.